Hello and welcome to another Happy Pod, the only podcast in the world. My name is Nathan. As always, I'm joined by my rebellious co-host. His name is Lawrence Thomas Heisey. Hello, good evening, good morning, and how are you, sir?
Good evening. That was almost the Truman Show, but I'm good. I'm very well.
Lawrence, I hate to interrupt you, but nobody cares.
Oh, yeah.
What they do care about is you telling us what this silly little... no, this isn't the silly one, is it? What this show is all about.
Is it not the silly one? I feel like you said the silly one before.
I feel like Still Got Legs has become the more silly one now, but...
The U-turn has been drastic on that.
Yeah. Anyway, the show, what is it?
This is the show where we get together, we talk about all things. It could be movies.
All things.
All things. We talk about elastic bands. I don't know.
Yeah.
If it exists, one day we will discuss it. No, we talk about all things pop culture. We talk about movies, TV shows. We talk about games. And we try and avoid some toxic stuff. We try and be a bit positive, try and be upbeat, and we have a rocking good time. I'm tired.
Why is that, Lawrence?
Because I have spent a week just shotgunning a season of TV, 4 seasons
Lawrence,
of TV.
Lawrence, I have no sympathy for you whatsoever.
I finished it before you.
Yes, but I also work a full-time job. And you purposefully took time away from your job this week.
I was watching like 10-hour Rebel days.
Yeah,
man.
Exactly.
Anyway. God. So you finally got me to cave. Fans of the show will know for the longest time that you've been trying to get me to complete an animated Star Wars show for quite some time, to the point where we made up a segment called Clone Wars Corner.
And then dropped it after like 5 weeks when you just didn't watch anything.
I just didn't watch it. And I showed up one day and I was like, yeah, I haven't seen it, sorry. But you succeeded. Oh, we're not going to do another Happy Revenue. We made a fatal mistake in planning that segment. What was that mistake, Nathan?
We failed to consider that as of right now, we can only see the past 30 days of earnings. So pretty much every week from this point out, it would be the exact same amount just about. So there's really no point in it.
Just know that we retired millionaires.
Yes.
And now all proceeds go to charity.
Yes.
Does that make it tax exempt if it goes to charity?
Well, the money is tax exempt.
But would we pay the tax or would the charity pay the tax?
There's no tax to pay.
So what, a charitable donation is tax-free?
This is a good point you bring up. This is not related to anything, but just a quick message to everyone out there. Never donate to charity through corporations. Because they just do that so they can get it back on tax and fucking eat shit. So, you know, when you're at Tesco's or whatever and they're like, oh, do you want to like donate 20p to charity? Don't feel bad about it. Say, no, I'm good. And don't feel bad because that's just a way for them to get out of paying tax. So fuck those cunts.
I've had that so many times where I felt like it's been like, do you want to round up 1p? And I'm like,
no,
I don't. And I feel like you're judging me, but also I know you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like I've worked in service before. I couldn't give I just want them to pay and go.
Yeah, same. I want this interaction to be over as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Donate or not, I don't give a fuck. It's your money.
Lawrence, we should get started because this is already probably going to be quite an in-depth one. We've got 4 seasons of television to talk about.
Let this be the last time we mass overview a series like
I
this.
think that's wise, yes. From now on, if we are going to we will be doing some more TV shows, but I think it's wise to probably do a season at a time if that is the case.
Yeah. It's like, and with this probably goes with any TV show as well, but I don't think we're going to be able to do it all justice whatsoever.
No.
So I feel like we're just going to have to talk about some key points and standout stuff. Why did you want me to watch this? You've been on my arse about watching Rebels for some time.
Because you know me, I like Star Wars and I like animated stuff. And I feel like you have a bit of a bias when it comes to animation, and you don't like it unless it's Spider-Verse, in which case you love it. But then everything else, you're like, nah.
I want to defend myself and say, like, The Incredibles, Toy Story, some of my favourite movies. Puss in Boots I preferred more than you.
Yeah. That's true.
I like animation. I have been known to be a bit snooty about Star Wars animation.
You have, yeah. I feel like you're like, not for me. Silly kid show. Blah, blah, blah. Really?
I did clarify at one point. I swear I texted you or I said it last week or something. But I was like, I remember this airing on Disney XD back in the day. Like, this is a kid show.
So what? Clone Wars aired on Cartoon Network. Doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, but they I feel like Clone Wars, like, I mean, maybe it's because it wasn't cancelled and then brought back to cap it off or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably why the last season was apparently a bit more adult in nature, because they were like, everyone that watched this grew up, so we should probably gear it towards. No, right, Rebels. So it's the story of a band of rebels after the fall, or after the rise of the Empire. Quite a small band. It progressively grows into a kind of a larger family with factions that split off and return. It's quite literally, and one thing that I was quite pleasantly surprised by is it's not just a singular group of rebels. It kind of tells the wider story of the makings of the rebellion, or at least the small faction of it.
It does. It tells you literally see at one point the formation of the full Rebel Alliance, and how it all comes to be, which is very cool. It's the idea of like cells. There's all these small rebellion cells all across the galaxy fighting together, and then we're just following one of those cells, but they come together, and by the end of it we've got the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah, and I like that they don't pull punches on it as well. I don't want to jump ahead, but there's points like in the later seasons, it's like, maybe if we blow up enough shit, the Rebel Alliance will finally give us some fucking money to do this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, not to get paid, but as in to, like, so we can blow up more stuff. And yeah. I'm going to start with this, because I mean it when I say it. This show, for me, has really high highs.
Okay.
But some quite boring lows.
Okay.
I would say, overall, and we'll jump in season by season, it gets better as it goes.
Yeah, it does.
I think season 1 is the weakest, because everything they do, like, character-wise, is really cool. Like, I liked getting to know, like, Zeb, Sabine, Hera, Ezra, and Kanan. Like, they're a fun dynamic. All of them thrown in together was quite a laugh. And I understand they have to build to stuff, but I found in season 1 they played it quite safe. They were like, this week we're going to another place that is under the thumb of the Empire, and we're stealing a crate of things again.
Yeah.
So it does feel a little bit like that, but as it goes on, I think it really comes into its own once Kanan is like, I'm a Jedi and I'm going to train this guy to be a Jedi. Because then you really start to explore a bit more of this kind of thing. What do you think of season 1?
I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. It's I feel like that's kind of the point, though. It's like it's intentionally more light-hearted and more sort of run-of-the-mill in the first season and stuff. It's because it's about the progression and about like how these characters change, but also how the rebellion changes and how the type of jobs and missions that they're doing changes as well. Because you're right, they're just, they'll steal some stormtrooper armor, they'll steal some supplies.
They'll relentlessly steal stormtrooper armor.
They do steal a lot of stormtrooper armor. They'll impersonate a guard. They'll get a thing. They'll do a little heist, and then they'll dish out some supplies, and that's pretty much it. And it's all light-hearted fun. We'll have some cameos. We'll have some fun adventures, but that's it. And then you got like fucking season 3 where you got like fucking, I don't know, Maul fucking chopping the heads off of fucking innocent civilians and all this sort of stuff.
I watched the so it's like my wife saw the first episode that I watched.
Yeah.
And then she also, just this morning, I was watching the last episode.
Yeah.
And one of the things she said, and it really made me laugh, was, I thought this was a kid's show. And I went, yeah, it is. It got a bit less kid showish, like, as it went on. Like, she missed all of that in the middle growth. And she was just like, hang on, now there's people, this is dark. This is kind of rough.
I don't think it's a case of it being a kid show and then not being a kid show. It's always a kid show. It's just that I feel like it kind of matures with the audience, I guess. It does get a little bit darker, and the stories do get a little bit more in depth. Not to say that there's not depth and stuff in the earlier seasons, because there absolutely is. It's just there with also a lot of lightheartedness as well, more so in the earlier seasons anyway.
One thing I was quite keen to talk about, I suppose the two main things that I really like, and I want to make it clear, although season 1, like, Nathan said at the start of the week I was going to do something, and he was absolutely right in the fact that I went into this kicking and screaming.
Yeah, you did. I know you did.
I had to I waited. We've had this episode planned for months. This has been the release date for months.
It was originally supposed to come out in April.
No, we agreed. We made a truce.
Yeah, no, it did get pushed back, and that was both of us. But it was originally supposed to come out in April, so it's been a while coming. You've known about it for a while.
Yeah. So when I did say that I shotgunned this show in a week,
yeah,
I mean that. I took time off work to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I did go into it kicking and screaming, but I also really want to try and focus on some cool stuff, because I was thinking about what you say. There's a lot of stuff in season 1, and I guess earlier on in season 2 as well, where I'm like, it would have been a bit cooler if they did this, but I'm trying to look past that and be like, what did they do and what is cool?
Are you going to get into what would have been cooler, or in your head what would have been cooler?
Yeah, but I'm going to try and spin it into a positive.
All right. Edgy Lawrence thinks it would be cooler if in this kid show Ezra just slaughtered everyone he comes.
No, I like that. I like that there's a noticeable difference after season 2, and Ezra's like, I murder people now. I'm here and I got my gun. Yeah, the stun blasters disappear.
There's a surprisingly large number of murders in this show as
well. There's way too many. And I feel like they always get to the person they should be murdering, and they're like, I'm a Jedi. And I'm like, you just murdered a million stormtroopers.
There is a lot of that. Yeah.
But look, I get it, because they can't. They when they catch the main bad guy, they have to speak, and at that point, they can't just execute him. Yeah. There's a difference between a stormtrooper is shooting at me, so I shot them.
Yeah.
Versus someone being like, Ezra, you should turn to the dark side. And Ezra's like, no, I'm going to decapitate you now. Yeah, famously doesn't go well for Star Wars protagonists, just decapitating an unarmed prisoner.
No.
Literally unarmed as well.
Wait, what?
They cut Dooku's hands off.
Oh, right, that's what
he was quite literally incapable of being armed.
Yeah, he was.
No, so the main thing was that I heard so many people blow smoke up the character's arse that was the Grand Inquisitor.
Right? Oh, okay.
He was in Kenobi. Great. I'm a big fan of, is it Jason Isaac?
Yeah.
Big fan of him. Great voice.
He's that guy from that franchise we won't mention.
Yeah, but look, he's pretty good in that franchise that we won't mention.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with certain people in that franchise. That's all him.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Solid performance.
Yeah.
Could have been saying gibberish. Would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I don't like that character, though.
Yeah, no, that character sucks, but he's supposed to suck.
But yeah, he's good at sucking, though.
Yeah, and he's just brilliant as a menacing presence.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
We can say it. It's Harry Potter. He's Lucius Malfoy. We can say it.
Yeah. But Harry, don't give the franchise money. Just don't do that. Yeah, I just feel like he's good, and all the building blocks are there. I was hyped for the Grand Inquisitor. And when he first came in, I was like, whoa, I've heard a lot about this cunt. He's going to rock some shit up. And then I feel like he just didn't rock any shit up. Okay. And then he paved the way for Grand Admiral Thrawn to come in and be like, oh, they got it right with this one. This was what they were trying to do with this guy, but didn't. Because I feel like, I don't know, and maybe this is kind of the point. I think this is probably still by design, is they use the Grand Inquisitor as kind of this framing tool for Kanan having to overcome a fear. Which is really, really interesting and cool. But throughout the entirety of season 1, the Grand Inquisitor is like, why can't I catch this one Jedi who also kind of sucks as a Jedi? I am the head honcho of hunting Jedi, and I can't catch this low band fucking group of ragtag rebels.
Yeah, but they're skilled. Padawan. They're skilled, though, the rebels. They're not just any old cunts who've never done a fucking mission in their life. It's not their first day on the job. Hera, Zeb, sure, Ezra's pretty new to this, but Hera, Zeb, Kanan, and Sabine, they've been in this a while. They've all got backgrounds where they've come from, they've all got their own individual trauma and have come together to, start up this little group of their own, and they know what they're doing.
No, I do agree. I just, I think maybe it would have been, because they can have that same thing, and this is my negative, which I'll try and spin into a positive in a second. If the Grand Inquisitor, every interaction, if he had Kanan, on the verge of death, and Kanan escaped by pure happenstance, I feel like it would have made their final confrontation and Kanan's overall victory a bit cooler. But I do really like how Ezra is kind of perceived as dead, and the Grand Inquisitor is just taunting him.
Yeah.
And that's the moment that he's like, you have to acknowledge the fact that, like, I don't think he's a coward by any means, but he is holding back because he's terrified.
Who is the Kanan?
Yeah. And I love the idea that, like, he doesn't realize how close he is to Ezra until he quote unquote loses Ezra, and then he's like, oh, I'm gonna fuck your shit up.
I think with Kanan, in the first season especially, there's also an issue of self-worth and self-confidence, because Order 66 happened when he was a Padawan. He was very young when Order 66 happened. You can see it in Bad Batch. It's the first episode of Bad Batch.
Does he follow over into that then?
Yeah, so Bad Batch is set immediately after Clone Wars. Like, immediately. Like, Order 66 is the first episode you see of Bad Batch. And in that you see Kanan as a young Jedi.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So he's very young when it happens, and from that point on, he's not getting any more training. He doesn't have his master to help him anymore. So that's just it. He's got to fucking find out and figure out how to do it from that point on. And now he's training Ezra, but he's not much further along than Ezra would be himself. So there's a massive issue of, like, self-worth. And you see that as well. He's constantly questioning if he's good enough to do this. There's a whole episode where he's like, I can't do this. We need to get Master, I think it's Luminara, to train you instead, because she's really good. She's better than me, and all this sort of stuff. And I feel like that's a big part of Kanan's journey for the first season and a half, I think.
I'm glad they took time to do that, because, like, season one, like I said, the lifeblood is the characters.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't like the characters, then in season one, this may sound harsh, but I'm, like, again, I want to stress that I do overall think this show is quite cool.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't like the characters in season one, there's not much else there. Like, in terms of setting and kind of some degree of, until, like, maybe the last, like, 3 episodes, there's not too much plot stuff that's that compelling. It does get a lot better on later on. So yeah, I just think I've always really been interested in the concept of, like, so many Jedi Master and then Padawan relationships that we've seen have been, you kind of, like, straight-laced, like, sit up straight, you know, be mindful of your feelings. I think that's cool, but I find it so much more interesting when it's just this unorthodox blend of weird shit.
Yeah.
Like, when Yoda is a little fucking homeless fucking little gremlin, and he's like, lift a fucking spaceship, and Luke's like, I can't, and he's like, well, then you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, I like that. I love kind of Luke's semi-unorthodox training of Rey in the sequels. I just think it's really, really cool, like you said, when Kanan is a master and he's wondering if he can do it, he's not much further along than Ezra would be. And I feel like it does give off the impression that Ezra is a bit naturally more gifted than Kanan.
I feel like by the time we get to season 4, I feel like Ezra probably is, in a lot of ways, stronger and more skilled than Kanan is,
Yeah. So I just really enjoy that, like, when you put characters like that, these characters, I think, work, and that it's a strength that there is no kind of council or order left for them to have a formal relationship, because they probably wouldn't have been paired together. And it's far more interesting because Ezra's super impulsive and Kanan's kind of, like, so much more methodical, but is also just happy to just throw in the towel and just fucking get his hands dirty if he needs to. It's a really interesting pairing of people.
It's very interesting you say that, because, like, it's interesting in the fact that you still haven't watched Clone Wars, because exactly what you're saying is, like, to me, that's a big part of Anakin and Ahsoka's, like, relationship. You know, we there's a meme going around at the moment. We just had the Barbie trailer, and, you know, there's the shot, and there's, like, Barbie getting her mug shot, and then Ken getting her mug shot. Yeah, Ken getting his mug shot, and Barbie's, like, all serious, and Ken's just smiling and having fun. And he's like, that's Obi-Wan and Anakin. Obi-Wan is the straight face and serious, and Anakin is just like, here we go, this is a good fun. They're both, Anakin and Ahsoka are Ken. They're so chaotic. They're both that silly mugshot thing. They're both they're always rebelling against the council and doing their own thing and be like, no, we're not doing that. We're just going to do this and fuck you, and having a a good old time.
What I remember from what I saw of Ahsoka in Clone Wars, and it wasn't a lot, but I saw what Disney Plus refers to as one of her defining episodes, like one of 20 or something. But you know, they do like the Ahsoka Essentials playlist.
I know what you mean,
Yeah, I think I've seen like 2 of them. And yeah, just, I do remember her just being completely like, I'm not going to listen. And then Anakin's like, I'm cross. Not really. I'm not really that cross.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Big fan. I've got here a note that says, big fan of the episode where Ezra is undercover as an Imperial cadet. Big fan.
Oh, okay. What do you like about that?
I find it always really interesting when we get to see, we spoke about this with Ben on Rogue One, when we get to see the Empire as more than just bad guys in buckets.
Yeah.
That are shooting. I love that they just call them bucket heads in this as well. It's a good little thing. But yeah, I like it when we get to see the Empire more fleshed out. And funnily enough, I think throughout all 4 of these seasons, my favourite episodes are when we just pick a character from the Empire and we're like, why are you the way that you are? In this one, ironically, it's children, and it's really fun to see like half of them are there through fear of what will happen to them if they weren't there.
Yeah.
And then the other few of them are like, it reminded me of the Benoit Blanc, like what were the words by the Nazi child?
The Nazi child was in the bathroom masturbating.
Yeah. But like, yeah, because half of them are just completely indoctrinated fucking idiots.
Yeah.
But then
true.
at the same time, you're like, no, but they're children. Like, they don't
they're
know
kids.
that they're fucking idiots.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, just I love it when they kind of touch on that. Where do you fall on that ethics side of it? And Ezra's like, can I shoot these? Like, this is kind of wishy-washy, man.
Yeah, it's true. Because it's true, you do get the ones who are like, I can't remember the name, but there's one of them who's just like, he's eager to always get to the top of the thing first, and he's like pushing kids out of the way, and he's proper hurting these kids, and he's like, what a dick. But like, is he a dick though? Or is he just a kid who's been fucking brainwashed and his entire life has been surrounded by Imperial propaganda? And like, where do you start? I don't know. Yeah, it's a difficult thing to try and deal with.
Throughout the show, I don't know their names. I'm sure they were mentioned at one point.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd have to have, I say your mind, an encyclopedic knowledge of Star Wars mind.
I can't remember their names, and I would have watched the episode within like the last month, but
fair.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I like
season one is I've watched a lot of Rebels. Season one is pretty foggy at this point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's where I'm at. Like, when I finished like season 1, I was like, I can't wait to talk about all of this stuff. And I got to season 4, and I'm like, fuck all that boring shit. I want to get to the season 4 stuff. No, that you get like this kind of band of like regular reoccurring officers.
Yeah.
But then like in that episode specifically, it's like, well done, you passed all these trials. You get to do more Empire stuff now. Yeah. And for the people that didn't, they're like, you're shit on a shoe, fuck you and die.
Wasn't one of the rewards like you get to like, I don't know, like be on an escort while we do this? It was some weird shit like you can hand out the data pads to the officers or some shit.
I think there was that one, and then I think one of the other rewards was like you get to just ride up top of an AT-AT or something.
Yeah, you get to be in an it's not even an AT-AT, it's like one of the little
the small walkers.
Yeah, one of the
two-leggers.
Not an AT-ST. I can't remember what they call this one, but yeah.
It's a funny thing as well throughout the show. There's varying levels of difficulty that, like, sometimes an AT-AT will appear and they're like, piss, I'll chop the leg off with my lightsaber. And other times they're like, we're gonna die. Like, very inconsistent levels of threat for those things.
It's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's hand-waving. I mean, look, this show isn't designed to be watched in a vacuum like we have to notice these things.
That's very true.
This show is designed to be watched over the course of 5 years on Disney XD when it's airing. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of, they're my main things on season 1, really. At the end of season 1, I think that they leveled the playing field quite nicely, because they're like, Ahsoka's here, and then immediately it's like, well, Darth Vader's here as well, so whatever, yeah.
Some quick favourite parts about season 1. I like when Ezra he goes to the temple with Kanan. They hear Yoda's voice, which is fun, and that I like that episode because it's just as important for Kanan to be at the temple as it is for Ezra as well. It's like Ezra has been like introduced to this whole new Jedi world basically, but Kanan's almost been reintroduced to it through Ezra, and they both have like kind of separate adventures with the voice of Yoda, which is quite cool. I like that he gets his crystal, and I like that he then builds his lightsaber. What I love about him building his lightsaber, first of all, it's a gun, and that's fucking hilarious, and just very fun.
Great. But again, this is not to interrupt you, but this is what I'm talking about, the unorthodox training. Mace Windu isn't fucking sanctioning any of this.
Yeah.
But like Kanan realizes, like, this kid's gonna die if he doesn't just have a gun on him at least.
Can you imagine Kenobi seeing a fucking lightsaber gun and you'd be like, Anakin, what is this?
Yeah. Oh, side point. Just quickly before I forget to praise him, who is the voice actor for old Ben Kenobi in this?
Oh, Stephen Stanton.
Fucking phenomenal.
Very good. Yeah, very.
Close Your Eyes is the same guy.
He does a lot of voices on the show and in Star Wars in general. But yeah. He's very good. Yeah.
He's like a spot on old Ben.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, go on. Some of your other stuff about season 1.
So yeah, the lightsaber, very fun that it's good. I also like that he built that lightsaber with like everyone helped him build the lightsaber. Like they're talking about like how everyone in the crew just basically donated parts or just whatever they had spare so he could build it. That's nice. That's very cute. I like that.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Grand Inquisitor, good bit of fun. He kills those two officers at one point. That's pretty brutal.
Oh, when he just like force pushes one of them off the thing?
No, I was talking about like, because remember when, I think it's somewhere towards the end of season 1, like I think it's when Tarkin comes in and he's like, oh, we've had too many fuck ups, these rebels, they keep getting away. And then he pulls in the Grand Inquisitor and he just like fucking decapitates those two officers because they keep fucking up, basically.
Yeah. Oh, I like that because the Grand Inquisitor's in the corner for the conversation and you just see the officers like, oh, we're dead.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's when things started to like turn a little bit from that point on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, side point again because they appear in this season and I don't want to go past it without mentioning it. Fucking helicopter lightsabers. Just
the discourse around that, my friend, it's been going on for years.
Look, I feel like I'm gonna form a nice middle ground here. They're dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
But so what?
Good bit of fun.
They're fun. They're so fucking fun. Helicopters.
I don't think it's ever going to be a thing we'll see in live action. Like, ever.
You can't do this. It's ridiculous.
You do see a little bit of it in Jedi Survivor, in the latest Jedi Survivor. In the opening section on Coruscant,
is it Ninth Sister?
Yeah, the Ninth Sister is back. When she like bursts out of the ship, there's a moment where she's like falling down and then she just like slows herself with the helicopter bladed lightsaber.
Good stuff. I mean, look, to be honest, if mine could do it, I'd be doing it.
I'd do it, yeah.
Just Mary Poppinsing all over the gaff.
You need to have some Rose Tyler strength arms to be able to hold yourself up. But hey,
you ever held like a massage gun or something that just vibrates intensely?
Yeah.
I feel like it would be like that, and I'd be like, fucking hell, I can't hold on to this. My hands would go numb in 1 minute, and I'd just plummet to my death. Shall we talk about the best season of the show next?
Season 2?
Yeah.
Really?
Banger.
Oh, okay.
Genuinely, I like a couple of misses. Same kind of carries over from season 1. That being the situations get more interesting, but like they had 22 episodes this time round, so they were like,
it is longer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's longer, but by a natural extension, it just means there's a few more misses in the show.
Yeah.
This is where the show, I think, finds its footing for me, if I just do kind of my quick thoughts on it as a whole.
Yeah, sure.
This is where the show comes into its own a bit more. I think it's humanity, I think, to the whole thing. It makes the whole thing a bit more less... I know it's still very much for kids, and it's still very much some slapstick haha moments.
Yeah.
But like it's keen on establishing people with real problems. Like Ezra struggles with his training, and like actually comes more into conflict with Kanan now that Kanan gives a shit enough to have a conflict with him.
Yeah.
I like that. It just kind of Ezra's journey is way more like, I want to fight the Empire, and more like, are my parents dead? I don't know, and that sucks.
Yeah.
There's the kind of, throughout the entire season 2 run, there's this, one of the things I find so fucking fascinating, to the point where I've asked you this countless times, is the looming question of like, is that Anakin Skywalker? Like, is that Anakin? And
well,
like,
Ahsoka's asking that.
Yeah, but I just find that very interesting. Obviously, Ahsoka's in it, so that's more of like there's a character I can point at, but also she brings new conflict with her and new relationships that we haven't seen explored with I think this is where the show as a whole comes into, like, it finds a really strong middle ground of, here is a group of characters that are new and they're the primary focus.
Yeah.
But if you're getting bored, here's a bit of Darth Vader as well.
Yeah.
And it's so strong, and I like that there's not really a clear defined villain. There is it Agent Kallus?
Kallus, yeah.
Kallus, yeah. Sorry, I say this because my notes, there's so many stupid nonsensical words in this that my phone has corrected all of the names and planets to something else. So I'm like, I saw like Agent K and I was like, there's something along those lines. The best episode, I think, of the entire show is when him and Zeb are thrown into a hole.
I'd say it's the best of the season. I don't know if it's the best of the show, but it's a very good episode.
I think it's the best. Yeah, it's definitely the best of the season. It's the best two characters sit and talk to each other. There's way more like shooty bad guy episodes that I like more.
Yeah.
But like for two characters having a conflict, I think it's just fucking, it's interesting. And it obviously where that character ends up going, I didn't have that context at the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know this guy as someone who does get redeemed and does end up fighting on the right side of history and all of this.
Well, no one did when we first watched it.
No, but like I'd imagine, I don't know, I feel like my immediate reaction here was probably different to your rewatch, obviously.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, no, the show, this season as a whole, like, it makes the villains feel kind of...
The stakes are higher with season 2.
Yeah. And I feel like we get more of the Lothal conflict and stuff. Like, we get to see the Empire really being like, hey, that kid's from Lothal. Let's really fucking put our thumb under this cunt. Like, let's tighten this shit down and really piss him off.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, just genuinely a great season. My first note is Lando has a southern smooth-talking droid. Where is L3 and who is this Texan cowboy droid?
Well, L3's dead. We saw the death of L3.
Oh no, L3 is dead at this.
Yeah. L3 died in the movie she was introduced in.
So that's obviously before this then?
Yeah. So that's... Solo is about 10 years post Revenge of the Sith. This is about 15.
God, he's gone from Childish Gambino to Billy D. Quick.
Yeah. Well, Solo wasn't out at this point, to be fair. But yeah, so, well, it starts off around 15. It obviously goes over time. Yeah, Lando does have a very southern droid, which was quite fun. Princess Leia's in it. Princess Leia shows up at one point.
She's cool. I always love a bit of Leia. I found her, like, not too, like, narratively... It's not there for much other than I'm Princess Leia.
I'm Princess Leia. I'm part of the rebellion. This is all fun.
And don't tell these guys I'm part of the rebellion. I love the lengths that they go to be like, you need to put me in like a...
You need to
over my
me.
head.
Yeah. That was all good fun. I liked that. What do you think of Rex and the clones and all that sort of stuff?
So that was something I just saw that note on my screen, and that was something I was meant to include in my little kind of overview of the season. But I'm glad I didn't, because I'd very much like to go into some more conversation about this.
Okay.
I fucking love the concept of a Padawan.
Yeah.
Like you say, I didn't know this. I couldn't work out like how old Kanan's supposed to be, but if you say very young during Order 66,
about 12, 13.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Pretty formative years.
Yeah.
And I love the concept of like, this kid was powerless in Order 66, but it's like, it'd be like if you like killed my mum and dad. Like, but like I'm watching someone I know and I'm close with, just completely betray me, and then like some years later, I just see a bunch more of you, and you're like, we didn't mean to kill your mum and dad.
Yeah,
we're kind of your mates.
Well, my fault.
yeah. And I just like at first I thought they were going to brush over it, but I love that every time Kanan and Rex are on screen, there is such tension there, but there is also like a fierce loyalty of like, and look, I don't know the character Rex that well.
Yeah.
I mean, I do now after watching the show, but I don't know his history, so I think I can add a nice perspective to this of I'm getting to know Rex at the same time Kanan is.
Yeah.
So like straight away off the bat, like he seems... cool, but he's a fucking big guy and he seems like he calls the shots. So when he's like, my head did no worky for 5 minutes and I killed so many of your friends, Like, you have a hard time instantly empathizing and believing that. And it comes at the back of, like, Kanan being like, I don't know if I'm good enough to be training this kid. I don't know if I'm a master. I don't know if I'm, like, would consider myself a Jedi Knight. And then he comes face to face with the reason that his training was cut short and his life was thrown completely through a loop. And they eventually kind of work it out. But they always have this fun... You know when you see characters like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, then they don't get on?
Yeah.
And I'm like, why don't you get on? You're just normal guys.
Yeah.
I feel like you could get on.
Probably because Bucky's racist.
I mean, Bucky is probably quite racist.
Yeah.
No, but no, but what I'm saying is, it's when I hate it when two characters just don't like each other because haha funny. But these two characters...
These characters have a reason to, like, have a bit of a rivalry. More so Kanan than Rex, but, like, they're definitely... It's not just rivalry for rivalry's sake. There's a reason for it.
And I just like that, like, when they look past that and when they can move beyond that, they still respect their positioning. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, I think the widely considered fact is that the Clone Wars was fought with battalions of clones assigned to a Jedi Master.
Yeah, that's kind of not officially, but like
when they come together, like there's all this added baggage, but it's always a nice callback to like the Clone Wars. And I don't know if it's this season. It might not be this season. It might be the next season when they like find these like weird separatist droids that are still going.
Yeah, and Rex has this whole fucking like PTSD thing where he fucking needs to fight this fight and he needs to finish the Clone Wars. I think that is season 3.
Yeah, but like that will be the culmination of this arc and everything. But like at the same time, I just really like that they're like they're supposed to fight together. That's the thing. Like they do that, and they can't at first, and obviously there's a reason for it. I just think their inclusion's really nice. That being said, the one that like giggles every sentence, that clone.
Oh, Gregor?
Yeah, he's annoying.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Maybe I'll love him if I saw him in Clone Wars. Maybe I'll be like, wow.
He's only in one episode in Clone Wars. Well, one arc in Clone Wars.
Oh, I was gonna like the way you reacted then. I thought like you were gonna be like, I was going to watch the Clone Wars and they'd be like, wow, man, Gregor, you know, they killed his mum and his dad and his cat and his nan. Like,
he does have a pretty traumatic backstory, but it's not that intense.
This comes back in the finale, and I was so chuffed to see it come back. But how Ezra's search for his parents is like a big part of this storyline.
Yeah.
And I do like that it kind of... It kind of comes up with nothing. I mean, like, it doesn't come up with nothing, but it comes up with, like, not enough for him to do anything about it. Like, they were alive, but by the time he finds out that they were alive, they're already dead.
I feel like the most heartbreaking thing about Rebel, with Ezra's parents specifically, is they were alive, and they were alive during season 1, but then they died. And we never see them. We see them in like flashbacks and pictures and stuff. But like because there's a big moment in season 1 where Ezra gets to do like his speech, his like call to arms, like telling the people of Lothal to like stand up and resist the Empire and shit. And then we found out like that his parents heard that speech, but shortly after it they were killed. And like, fuck, man, that's rough.
And I do like that speech. Like, it'd be so easy to make that like a defining season 1 moment, but like that speech carries over, and new characters come into the band of rebels and they're like, oh yeah, man, this is that kid that was talking on the radio that one time.
Mon Mothma, the head honcho of the rebellion, is like, oh, Ezra, I know you. You did that speech one time. Like, fuck yeah, man, that's cool.
Is that her from? Is that the actress, the main actress?
What, Genevieve O'Reilly, who plays her in like Andor and Rogue? I don't know, to be honest.
I think they obviously get very good. If it's not her, they get very good impersonators.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I quite liked her voice actor. Yeah, no, I what I find quite amusing, and I don't think they'll be able to write themselves out of this, and maybe they shouldn't anyway. But like, we've seen Andor, and this obviously wasn't shot. This wasn't created with Andor coming out in mind.
No.
And like Mon Mothma's like in Andor, she's like, we're talking on the codes, like we're talking in riddles. Like no one, like you come into my shop, you put on a fucking wig when you talk to me. Like no one can know of my involvement. And then in Rebels, Mon Mothma just goes on the Senate floor and she's like, Palpatine's a Nazi and you all suck.
Well, this is also after Andor, though.
Yeah,
but it's considerably later. It's like this. Well, that point is anyway. Like by the time Mothma is introduced in this show, a lot of like the fucking the undercover and secrecy work has like already been done, and it's like it's basically breaking point for her at this point. It's like she can't effectively lead the rebellion whilst also, still being a senator and stuff. So
I wonder what Andor season 2 is going to do about that, because that kind of her arc kind of.
Well, Andor season 2, it's funny because that's a pretty big moment in fucking Mothma's life. But Andor season 2 is supposed to be like, how they did like the 3-episode arcs in season 1. Apparently, I don't know how true this is, but I've heard that season 2 is going to be like every 3 episodes is basically a different year, and it's like a year between season 1 and when Rogue One is, basically. So that 5-year gap, filling those in.
Fucking hell.
So yeah,
Jesus, that's gonna fuck me.
So yeah, things are gonna be quite intense and change quite dramatically.
And the Andor writers are so funny because they're like, let me find the most deeply entrenched, lore-locked era of Star Wars, and I'm going to try and do something completely new with it. And they're like, bro, you can't move without touching the Clone Wars or Rebels here. Like, you're going to be overlapping something, surely.
Yeah, season 2 of Andor will definitely be interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
See what happens and who fits in. With season 2, though, I feel like the big moment for season 2 for pretty much everyone is the finale, Twilight of the Apprentice, part 1 and 2.
Hang on. We'll get to the finale.
All right, sorry. I just noticed we are 48 minutes into recording.
Nathan, you wanted to do Rebels with doing okay. I didn't turn down pretty much a week's income to not fucking talk about Sabine being a Mandalorian or whatever.
Well, that's mostly season fucking 3 and 4.
It is, and it does go on, but I've got a note that says, like...
Oh, sorry, you want to mention Soap McTavish, do you?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Because he's in, and he's immediately Soap McTavish, and I'm like, I know that... I texted you, I'm like, I know this fucking guy.
Yeah, I didn't, but...
Kevin McKidd, I knew it. Look, I'll be real with you, and I can say this confidently because it's my favourite season of the show. There was an episode where I was on my phone a little bit.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Lawrence.
Oh, yeah, like you didn't.
Yeah, but I've seen it.
I've seen it. I'm still watching. No, I think I was like checking. I just remember looking at my phone. I wasn't like fucking like just doing other shit. Like I think I was like responding to a message or something.
Yeah.
Because I remember not looking at the screen, and then suddenly I heard like just the dulcet, rich tones of Kevin McKidd, and I was like, "Hang on, am I playing Modern Warfare 2? Surely not." And I looked up, and there he is.
You don't even sound Scottish.
He's Scottish enough. I know his tone. I know that you need to understand. Modern Warfare 2 is a game I could quote start to finish probably right now. If you've got to spare 5 hours,
I don't.
Challenge me.
No one's challenging you. You don't need to do it. Please stop.
No, all right. But the main thing I was saying is, I'll touch on them quite quickly because I do want to get to the end, the finale of this season. Sabine learning kind of, and she does go on to do this a bit later on as well, but Sabine learning a new way to kind of deal with Mandalorians because of her experiences with Kanan. Like Mandalorians are famously punch first, talk later.
Famously, yeah.
Yeah, and are you taking the piss?
No, seriously.
Oh, okay, that was such a famously. You have such a fundamental misunderstanding of Mandalorian.
No, Mandalorian's whole thing is like their whole planet is literally ravaged because they cannot stop going to war with each other. Like,
but
they're all fucking idiots.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah. I like that when like Sabine encounters other Mandalorians, Kanan's like, hey, maybe don't immediately punch these guys. Maybe talk to them.
Oh, she's like, a Mandalorian, mate. That's what I do.
Yeah, and she's like, that's what I do. But then also, like, Kanan does get through to her. And then, like, later on, it makes her kind of storyline in season 3 with the Darksaber more compelling. Because it's like, yeah, you probably are the most level-headed person here.
Yeah.
To deal with this kind of stuff. But yeah, her having that storyline was really interesting. The other one was, is Zeb a Lasat? Is that
Lasat? Yes.
Okay. So look at me, I'm learning.
Yeah.
I've got so many notes on this.
Do you know where you would have seen?
Where would I have seen a Lasat, Nathan?
Do you know where you would have seen a Lasat previously?
Is it Mando season 3?
Well, that's Zeb. But yeah. But I mean, another one that's not Zeb.
No, go on.
So Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Cal's master,
yes,
like during the Clone Wars, before he died, was a Lasat, Master Tapal. And this is a very deep cut, so you might not have seen this, but if you've seen like, and this is just speaking about the whole like art style of this show. We can have a discussion about this, but the whole art style of the show, it looks the way it does because it's all so heavily influenced on like the very early concept art from Ralph McQuarrie. And if you look at like the original concept designs for A New Hope, the original design of Chewbacca is basically Zeb. That's basically what it is.
Okay, so that's where like it kind of it comes from, the design.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I brief aside here. Maybe we can get into like an overview after we've done the seasons. I just think the art style of this is like, it's so much more visually pleasing than the Clone Wars. Keep in mind, I saw Clone Wars season 1 stuff.
Yeah, you like Clone Wars season. If you're talking about like Clone Wars season 7 and Bad Batch, it's phenomenal. It's like fucking pristine, cinematic.
Oh, I don't necessarily mean the animation quality. I can handle some like bad animation, especially because I know of like it's of an era.
Yeah.
But like, I just mean the art direction in general. Like, I prefer how people look in this show. Like, I feel like they can be more expressive. There's straight lines bogging them down.
This show is a very unique art style. It's very, which I quite enjoy. I like the very thin lightsaber designs again, all like Ralph McQuarrie inspired. Vader is very like monster-like kind of, which is quite interesting.
He like towers over people. He feels like fucking 9 foot tall or something.
Yeah, he really does. It's a really interesting art style. I think there's some moments. I know you text me about this. The Yoda design is definitely a little wonky.
He looks fucking so bad.
Yeah.
It looks so
and there's
bad.
a moment where you see Anakin, like in a hologram, which Ahsoka is playing, and it looks a little wonky as well. It doesn't quite look right. But overall, I think
I feel like Anakin
good.
Probably doesn't line up because you know his animated face now.
Yeah, probably.
But then I guess the same doesn't apply to Ahsoka, so...
Yeah, but it's a different era of Ahsoka, though, isn't it? Like,
true, yeah. We're supposed to believe that Anakin is Clone Wars Anakin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, I get that. Yeah, so just quickly, and then we'll get on to the finale of Season 2, because, my God, we're an hour in. The other thing, so Zeb seeing his Lasat people again, and they're like, it's this captain that we like.
Yeah.
And there's, like, a whole episode dedicated to, like, people on the ship are like, why is Zeb throwing his toys out the pram? And like no one can understand that, like, he feels like he failed his entire, like, his countrymen. Like, he feels like he doomed his fucking whole race.
Yeah.
And when they're like, you're our captain, and he's like, I don't like it's the Kanan thing again, like, am I worthy enough to take an ownership and leadership role here?
Yeah.
Just great stuff. I really came to quite enjoy Zeb this season. I didn't like him so much in season 1 because I feel like he was far less fleshed out. He was more just, I'm Ezra's older brother and I'm gonna beat him up, and I'm gonna put Chopper under a bin and Chopper's gonna scare Ezra or some whatever the fuck.
Yeah. But side note, we haven't talked about Chopper much. He's my favorite member of the crew. I love Chopper so much.
I think he's a nuisance.
You're a fucking idiot, man. He's amazing.
He's cool, but like,
he's a war criminal, man. Whenever he gets his hands on a pair of guns and he can just run around shooting people, it's amazing. I love that little droid so much, man.
He is like, if it was me, I feel like He's here now. He's guesting on the episode. I feel like if I was on the ship, I'd put Chopper in the furthest corner away from weaponry. And like I'd have to wake up every hour just to put him back in that corner.
Well, then on whatever mission you're going on, you'd be doomed because more often than not, Chopper saves the day. All right, Chopper is a hero, and I also like as well as you can kind of figure out what he's saying at some points as well because there's moments where I go bah, 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 and he's saying I have a bad feeling about this.
I didn't pick up on that. That's quite cool.
If you watch it sometimes, you can kind of figure it out. It's quite fun.
Out of interest, I switched on. This is me trying to do too much. I was like, I've invested hours into this show, and I'm losing money for doing so. So I need to get every ounce of information out of it. I put on subtitles for some of the droid-centric episodes.
Yeah,
and just to like see if it would be like maybe there's like a little thing that I can like get from this. Maybe it's gonna like tell me what Chopper's saying one time. But like most of it was like Chopper, and it was like dramatically, and I'm like, oh, they've given him a bit of flair. Like they've added in like I now know that Chopper's come in and he's been like, we're all gonna die, you know, like with a bit of flair to him or something.
I don't know if you ever paid attention to the credits, but in almost every episode,
no time for credits, man.
Okay, well, in almost every episode, it says as himself Chopper, which is very funny. But then in the final episode, it's revealed and it says Dave Filoni as Chopper.
Was he?
Yeah, Dave Filoni is the voice of Chopper.
God fucking damn it. You wolf-loving son of a bitch. Oh, you were right on the money. Nathan texted me at one point and was like, there'll come a point in the show where you realise how much Dave Filoni loves wolves. And I'm like, I don't know about that, man. I haven't seen much wolves. And then it just became wolves. Like, the whole fucking show. Yeah. Kanan's a wolf. Everyone's a fucking wolf.
At no point is Kanan a wolf. But
no,
right,
yeah, but you know
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
The Purrgil are here. They're space whales.
Oh my god, the finale of season 2. We don't have to. We can talk about the Purrgil later.
You asked for this, Nathan. I'm doing what you'd call a setup. They come back in a pretty fucking important way.
And that's why we can talk about them later.
Okay, fine. Right. No one has acted before Sam Witwer. It's not possible. He invented it.
Oh, what you're saying is Sam Witwer invented acting.
I am.
Yeah.
What? I mean, look, I know it's Maul. I do quite enjoy how Ezra's like, maybe this guy's here to help. And I'm like, this little conker is a cunt. Like, stay away from him. He's a little conker head, isn't he?
Why is he a conker head?
He's got like a little spiky head.
Conkers have spikes? Oh, the casing, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say they're a bit spiky.
I was thinking of an acorn.
Banner Cafalata is here at the end of the season. No, I like it. So has he been... Right, I didn't look into this.
Yeah.
Because I got enough.
You don't look into anything, yeah.
So Maul gets twatted in half by Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Then what?
And then spends about 13 years living in a junk pile. Goes insane, loses his mind. He just somehow in that time gets... spider legs. His whole lower half is a robotic spider. And then his brother finds him, takes him back to his homeworld of Dathomir, where where Mother Talzin, the clan mother of the Night Sisters, performs some ritualistic magic, heals his mind, makes him no longer insane, basically, gives him some more form-fitting robot legs. Then the two of them wreak havoc around the galaxy, Maul and his brother, that is. Basically in an attempt to draw out Kenobi, which works. They have a little bit of a scrap. At one point, Maul's brother is killed. I can't remember. I think it might be Asajj Ventress or Dooku who kills Maul's brother. But anyway, he dies. Maul then takes over Mandalore, just as a bit of fun. He becomes the ruler, he gets the Darksaber. He kills Satine, who is Bo-Katan's sister and Obi-Wan Kenobi's girlfriend. He kills her. And then he
bit naughty of Obi-Wan, that.
What do you mean?
Oh, Jedi aren't meant to have girlfriends.
She's not his girlfriend officially.
Oh, I see. So like we can't have labels. Mace Windu will flip his lid.
No. They never like. They never. They're not in a relationship. They're not kissing or anything like that. But they love each other very much. They're clearly in love. Yeah. Then he like runs a crime organization for like 15 years or whatever. Mm-hmm. Then we next see him in Solo, at the end of Solo, where he's like, "Hi, Kira, I run this organization, Black Sun, I think it is." And then, fuck knows, summer happens to him, and somehow he ends up stranded on Moraband.
So a fair bit then.
Yeah.
So he does a bit.
Yeah.
Kanan gets his shit rocked. Kanan gets blinded.
He does. He's blind.
Oh, no.
I was going to say he's blaning.
Oh, fuck you know. That's bad. That's bad. That's so bad. But look, so yeah, the meat of it is that fucking
it's Ahsoka versus Vader. That's what everyone's here for. That's why you buy your ticket. That's the moment everyone loves. It's the big showdown, master versus apprentice. It's good.
I took a picture of their lightsabers clashing and sent it to you with a caption like "Whoa" or something along those lines. I have seen this moment before. I've needed to put it in videos, but I've deliberately never watched it beyond what I needed to put in a video.
Yeah.
And I've never listened to the conversations before. Like I've never. The only thing I was aware of is when she said something along the lines of like, "I am no Jedi."
I'm no Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Vader says, because she just basically like says she'll avenge her master, meaning Anakin, and Vader's like, revenge is not the Jedi way. There's just a very cool moment where she goes, "I'm no Jedi."
Yeah. Like there's no music. It's just fucking. It's real. Just two good performers.
Yeah.
Bringing it home. Like this is the argument for voice acting.
Three good performers. Because you got Ashley Eckstein, you got Matt Lanter as Anakin, but then you've also got James Earl Jones himself as Vader. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. They did the thing. They did the thing.
Very similar to the Kenobi. Yeah, it's very similar to the Kenobi moment.
I feel like they had this moment in Rebels and they were like, not enough regular people have seen this. We need to throw this thing, this vibe.
Both moments are great though. Both moments are great. So
they both function. Anakin's like, I'm sick of repairing this half of my helmet. Fucking annoying. No, but I like it really builds up throughout the season. Like I've got a note that just says like they are talking about Anakin and Vader in the same breath without just coming close to the revelation that they're the same fuck. They're like, this Vader guy sucks. I wish Master Skywalker was here and he'd put him in his place. I'm like, no, it's not quite true. But yeah. No, I just really, really like that confrontation. And like, my God, is like the when the doors came down, like I kind of had to tell myself, we're still with Ezra, we're still with Kanan and Hera and Sabine. I don't think Sabine was with them at this point.
No, it was just Kanan and Ezra. Ezra and Chopper.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. So I'm like, we're still
the hero.
This is the story we're following. And when like the door shut, I was like, I guess we'll see how that fight ended up in Ahsoka. I guess we'll see how, like, I guess we'll see a resolution to that.
Okay, you whinging over here. I had to wait 2 fucking years, Lawrence. Alright, sorry, I had to wait a day.
No. But like in my mind, I was worried that it wasn't going to sit landing because it's cool.
Yeah.
But then like you naturally, that's the big thing, and that doesn't involve either Ezra or Kanan.
Yeah, it's very interesting that like when this episode came out, and like I say, it was 2 years until we had any kind of confirmation that Ahsoka was even still alive. Really, there was a whole thing of like Ahsoka lives was like a big movement because we just didn't know. There's the little, because you see Vader emerge from the temple, and he's like, sure, he's a little fucked up. But you're like, oh, what does that mean? You do see a brief segment of like Ahsoka walking through the temple, but is that a Force spirit? Is that like what's going on? How does that all work out? Even to the point where fucking there was a Star Wars Celebration panel. There was a Star Wars Celebration, a panel Dave Filoni had on a T-shirt that said Ahsoka lives with a question mark, and then they like played a trailer of like the next season. I think it was like season 4 of Rebels. And then during that trailer, he went backstage, changed his T-shirt, and it said "Ahsoka lives!" exclamation mark instead of a question mark. And like no one at the time picked up on it, like, because why would they? Like, they're not like studying the intricate details of like his T-shirt. But then like a few days later it came out and like everyone was like really excited for this. Then like, what does this mean? So
that's a good little bit of
he's clever. He's clever.
I can't, by nature of him, I can't agree with everything he does, right? Me and Dave Filoni have a complicated relationship. But yeah, I just think that the build up to this fight is so good. Like the not knowing, the door coming down. I kind of took that as like a metaphorical, like, and I think the season 3 premiere kind of reinforces this idea. It's like the training wheels are off. Like Ahsoka force pushes Ezra back, and she's like, "You get mixed up in this, you're dead, son. Like leave." And it feels very much like Ezra fucks the bed in this scenario, right? Yeah, he continuously makes incorrect choices.
Yeah.
And he's not to know any better. Like there's some cartoon stuff of like, if I really wanted to be like a logical CinemaSins prick about it, I'd be like, you're clearly fucking making some dumb moves. But
you the audience member who knows the ins and outs and everything,
I'm like, that's Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Ezra, have you
haven't seen Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace? That's Darth Maul.
He has a vendetta. He's cross. Ezra, hold up. Let me show you the Clone Wars real quick. This guy is
you
not
haven't
to be
even
meddled
seen
with.
that. Sam Witwer is very fun. Sam Witwer's great. I love his Maul. Just the... I don't know, because Maul spoke in episode 1, but it really wasn't much. He had like fucking 3 lines, and it was Peter Serafinowicz, and you know, it was great and stuff, but like Sam Witwer, just like the arrogance of Maul, like the idea that, I don't know, you get the sense that he thinks he's more noble than he actually is. Like someone of nobility and that sort of stuff, and I don't know, he just plays it really well. Sam Witwer was really good at that stuff.
Oh, his entire thing is like, he goes into the duel with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon like confident as shit. Like, I got 2 lightsabers stuck together.
Yeah.
I'm better at flips than you, and I'm going to kill you. And then he gets his shit rocked, and then for the rest of his life, he's like, "How dare they rock my shit like that?"
Yeah. You see that meme, which is like, man literally too angry to die. That's basically more.
Yeah, but that's true. Like, and you're absolutely right. Like, Sam Witwer brings Ray Park is physically the character, but Sam Witwer is the voice and the heart of the character. Yeah. And I always knew that was the case, but I didn't understand it and how everyone's seen the Kenobi. Everyone's fucking knows that.
Great scream. Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't realize it extended beyond that to the point where like he could be the only character in a scene and it's gripping as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, he's able to hold a presence so well, and just all round fucking very interesting season. I don't know, maybe calling it my favorite season is like strong, because I do really, really enjoy some aspects of season 3, and then like I quite enjoy like towards the ending of season 4 quite a lot.
Yeah, I think season 3 might be my favorite. Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, I think like from this point on, they're kind of all par with each other.
Yeah.
But I just think season 2 explores so much interesting shit.
Yeah,
that you don't often get in Star Wars.
So season 2 ends a whole big part of that last episode of season 2 is like they keep saying, it's a Sith holocron. Jedi cannot open Sith holocrons. You need to be able to use the dark side to open a Sith holocron. Ezra, you can't do it. Leave the Sith holocron alone. And then at the end of the episode, he opens the Sith holocron. Yeah. And then it ends.
He's like, boom, look at my dark side.
Look at me, I'm dark side. And then season 3 starts. It's a year later. He's got a haircut. He's got a green lightsaber now. Maybe he's using the dark side?
Oh, he's absolutely fucking using the dark side.
Spooky boy, yeah.
I've got a note, and this is my immediate kind of thing. First, I've said like it's a really interesting like setup for Ezra to be like, I made all the wrong decisions. He didn't he didn't turn to the dark. Like he doesn't ever turn to the dark side. But like
no,
he doesn't embrace elements of the dark side because he's angry at the world. He embraces elements of the dark side because he shit the bed by using elements of the dark side. It's like this fucking double-edged sword where it's like I'm pissed off and I'm tapping into my anger because I was pissed off and I tapped into my anger.
Yeah, but he's in it. He's trying to justify it as that it's helping him win the fight. Basically, he's fighting the Empire by using a little bit of the dark side because it's not more powerful, but it's like Yoda says, it's quicker, easier, more seductive.
And look, and I've got that. Like I've got a note that says like I do think that the dark side path that he's walking ends maybe a bit too hastily. I think it's such an interesting concept, and because Kanan isn't a traditional mentor, it would be really interesting for in the same way that I think Luke understands it to a degree. I think Rey does to a degree as well, or it certainly becomes less regimented, is like, you can use it as long as you're not a fucking idiot about it. Like, don't ever succumb to it.
Not so much that you can use it, but that it's a part of you. It's like, it's... The Force is a part of you, and that's all of the Force, the light side and the dark side. It's just that you have to...
You can't put your head in the sand and pretend it doesn't fucking exist.
Yeah, you can't, like... This will kind of fit into the whole discussion of the Bendu as well, which I hate. I hate the Bendu. Don't like the Bendu. Not for, like, any reason. Not like, I don't like this. This is dumb. I just like what he represents. The idea of the middle. The whole... This fence-sitting fucking arsehole. I hate it so much. There's like a big discussion, I don't know if you've seen this on Twitter, but there's a big discussion at the moment about like grey Jedi and whether or not that's a valid thing. It's not. Fuck off. There's no such thing as a grey Jedi. The idea of using both light and darkness together, like a good middle point between the two, and like, is that better than both of them? No, it's dumb. It's just sitting on the middle and not actually doing anything, really. I don't like it. The idea of like balance, I think people get the idea of balance quite a bit wrong. It's not like there needs to be equal light side users to dark side users. No, like the Jedi are balanced. That is the balance, okay? Yeah. If there's Sith and other dark side users, the balance is thrown off. The Jedi are balanced.
They're like the baseline for like, we found a good healthy point to interact with this power.
Exactly,
yeah. Well, that being said, I definitely wasn't going to propose the idea that Ezra did sit on the fence a bit more. Because like you said, Nathan, and I wholeheartedly agree with, I think that would be dumb and narratively very boring.
Well, you are, Reggie.
The only reason I said it, and it's a bit different from that, is because Kanan isn't a traditional mentor, and because he can train with the life experiences that he's had, but like you say, he hasn't progressed much further in his official Jedi training.
Yeah.
I think I would have preferred Kanan, maybe a little mini arc where Kanan doesn't necessarily know how to bring someone back from something like that. I don't know, I just think that could be quite interesting, because like, when you look at the shit that Ezra went through in the first 2 seasons, his life just went down the fucking toilet.
Yeah.
Like, he gained a lot, but he lost so much.
He'd already lost a lot.
Yeah, but I feel like now he'd lost a lot, but it was more woe is me because he was aimless stealing to survive and didn't have much of a say in it. Now he wields a power where he could do something about it, and he still lost.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just feel like it's interesting that he would perceive his own power as both a tool to make right on his misuse of it. I don't know. Maybe look, I'm not trying to come at this from like what I think could have been better. Like, I like the storyline. I just, I think it ends quite quickly.
That's fair. I don't mind it. I'm quite happy with it there. We get quite a bit of Hondo in this first episode of season 3. I like Hondo a lot. He's one of my favorite characters from both Rebels and Clone Wars. Do you like Hondo? Do you hate him?
I want to throw Hondo off a bridge.
No, you are insane.
When he comes back and he's like, I would die for Ezra. And I'm like, nah, you'd kill Ezra for yourself, mate. Like, fuck you.
He wouldn't kill him.
No.
He wouldn't kill him. He's a pirate with a heart of gold, but he doesn't like people knowing he has a heart of gold. What is wrong with you?
I just don't like him.
Why? Why do you hate fun?
I'll tell you who I like. I like Milch.
Great. Why do you hate fun?
I don't hate fun. I think his compadres deserve better than him.
You're insane. Hondo is one of the best characters ever, man.
I'm not saying he's not a good character. I'm on the Hera side of it. Like, get this guy off my ship. He's fucking... I don't trust him and he's annoying.
I got no words for you, man.
The face I just received.
I got no words for you.
I'm not cutting out that silence. That was Nathan just looking at me like, disdain.
I'm not going to take this criticism as well from a man who hasn't watched Clone Wars either. So.
All right, fine. If he shows up in Clone Wars and he can change my mind, then fine.
He's in a lot of Clone Wars. He's in a lot of it.
Chalk that up on the reasons not to watch
Clone Wars. He has a great relation. He has a lot of fun moments with Kenobi and Anakin and everyone. It's great.
It's a very small galaxy, isn't it?
It is very small. Yeah. Wedge.
Wedge is here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I too recognised the name Wedge.
Yeah.
And went, oh, it's Wedge.
Yeah. I cheered.
Did you have anything on him, or can I talk about Lars Mikkelsen?
You can talk about Lars Mikkelsen.
What a slow-moving, philosophical fucking creep.
He's so good, though.
He's fucking brilliant.
He's so good, man. Thrawn is here. What do you know about Thrawn? What did you know about Thrawn going into this?
Yeah, I knew that everyone wanted to see an Heir to the Empire. Don't spoil anything. I don't know what the fuck Heir to the Empire is.
Heir to the Empire is a series of books, a trilogy of books that were the original follow-up to the original trilogy. They were like the sequels to the original trilogy.
Okay.
Written by Timothy Zahn. That's where Luke comes from.
Oh no, not 3U Luke.
Yeah.
Muscly Luke.
Luke comes from those books. Mara Jade, if you've heard of that character.
Heard of the character, don't know the first thing about it.
She was like I think she was called the Hand of the Empire or Hand of the Emperor. She was just a dark side Jedi user and eventually turned over to the light and married Luke. She ended up marrying Luke. In Legends, but yeah, no longer canon, but clearly they're taking some of it for other stuff, and Thrawn is from that, so
yeah. So I had I think I understood that he was.
I've never read Heir to the Empire. I might have got some stuff wrong. Don't have me, nerds.
I certainly wouldn't have known. I just think I had such a basic understanding of I know that people. What I've seen on Twitter is that people have got a rock on for this cunt.
Yeah,
right? They want to see him in live action. Has he been cast?
Yes.
Who?
Lars Mikkelsen.
No. Okay.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah. Good. Because I've seen some horrible Benedict Cumberbatch photoshops, and I'd be ready to boil my head.
One of my favorite things ever, and you know about this, we've joked about this, but one of my favorite things ever is there was it was Star Wars Celebration Chicago 2019. There was a big mural, and it was all the generations of Star Wars. So you had prequels, Clone Wars, Rebels, original trilogy, sequels, and then during the Rebels, and it was just all these characters depicted in a sort of live action looking way and that sort of stuff. And there was Thrawn, and he's just clearly Pierce Brosnan. It's very clearly just Pierce Brosnan, but blue.
In his heyday, I think he could do this.
He could. He's too old. He's way too old now. But he could have been a good Thrawn 20 years ago or so.
Yeah. Looking at fucking GoldenEye and stuff. He could do that really nicely.
Definitely. Yeah.
Just right. Let's talk about him briefly, and we'll definitely come back to him because he's now the big bad of the show.
Yeah.
He's here to be hello, I'm the Grand Inquisitor, but better.
I'm blue. I'm blue.
Yeah, he's certainly blue. That is true. Firstly, he fucking commands a presence.
He does.
He is not lightsaber wielding. You see him with a gun a handful of times.
Yeah.
But he's there, and when he's there, he's the cleverest person in the room. He's got a handle on shit, and people are scared shitless of him. And I love just the choice of this actor and his soft. It's so easy to be whoa, this guy is a little creep.
Syndulla.
Yeah, it's that. It'd be so easy to be he speaks softly because he's a creep, but he has a fucking cadence to his voice.
Yeah,
that makes you feel like you could knock him out.
Yeah.
And you can't knock him out.
No, you can't.
And he's so unnerving. But what more than that, I fucking love that he doesn't live for I exist only in how the Empire defines me. Like, he's a fan of art, he's a fan of things. Like,
that's why, like, more often than not, the Empire is like, it doesn't care about like anything. It's like, this is how we do stuff, fuck you, this is how it's all gonna be. I don't care about what your traditions are, I don't care about what your customs are. We're just gonna install our base here and you're gonna be our slaves and work for us now. And don't get me wrong, like,
Governor Price.
Yeah, Governor Price. And Thrawn will install like a base somewhere, and he'll happily take like the local citizens to work and all this sort of stuff. But Thrawn Thrawn's clearly very intelligent, and he gets ahead by basically studying these cultures. He studies their art, their traditions, their customs, and he makes that. He incorporates that into his plans. He gets to know his enemy by basically studying their culture, and it's very interesting because he's able to get like one up on the rebels where no one else has been able to do so before. Really, because he's studied their ways more than anyone else has, which is very good.
I'm not sure if this. I think this is season 3, but if it might be season 4. But if so, like it's still about the character of Grand Admiral Thrawn. I just fucking like you say, he does study the culture and it gives him the leg up. And so often, like it's not a fucking like uninspired choice to like call the stormtroopers bucketheads and stuff. Like, the show is very confidently telling you that the Empire are either pencil pushers, complete evil bastards, or just moronic fucking toy soldiers.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more to it. So when a character comes in and is so much further beyond and has comprehension of their own fucking histories and cultures beyond maybe what they even know, having been distant from their own cultures for so long, it's interesting as fuck. Like, I can't remember the exact scene. Maybe this is because I've just seen so much Rebels in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
But there's like a specific moment where he like explains the poetic justice of using the Darksaber to kill Mandalorians.
Yeah.
And it's so far detached from like, I like killing people because I'm evil. It's way more in the vein of like, this is why it hurts them more to do it this way. And it's like, Jesus, dude, fuck. Like, fucking chill, man. They're dead either way. Fucking relax. But no, and like, you get to see more of like the Empire's ranks and stuff. I'd argue that this season is kind of primarily about both sides building a bigger network, like casting a wider net over Lothal and the rebel cell that we've been following, being like, okay, we need to ramp this shit up, we need more fighters. There's like an episode where they get more ships and stuff and blah blah blah. And yeah, I just find it like, with that stuff that's so interesting, the pencil pushing, the day to day of the Empire, to see Grand Admiral Thrawn overseeing a project I think this is in season 3 as well, like, where there's an episode where the production line, this specific line of products coming out of this one factory, have always been defective and faulty.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, well, from now on, every single one of you that makes anything for me is testing it yourself. So if you rig it to blow up, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know they don't have a union, but fuck, fucking hell. Like,
someone tells me they're not going to get a union either.
No. I mean, mate, Grand Admiral Thrawn is good for, if he's good for anything, it's union busting. He's going to be in there like, no, not a chance. But yeah, just this is a great. Maybe you're right. Maybe this is the best season.
It is. There's a lot of just really good bangers in this, and yeah, Thrawn is such a good villain, and he is quite chilling in the way that he's methodical in his speech and all this sort of stuff. But then there are moments where he can go toe to toe. He can, if he needs to, he can punch on and he fights 2 dark trooper droids, and like, he can easily hold his own against them, man. He's a very intimidating guy, and there's a reason he's as popular as he is. So
yeah, what I find so refreshing about him is he's different. He is
very different. Yeah,
there's something that he's not
your average Imperial.
Yeah, he's not a Sith, and he's not. I like the character of Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah,
but there's 50 Grand Moff Tarkins in Star Wars.
Yeah,
it just happens that he's the one with a popular name.
Yeah,
but there's no one like this guy from what I know.
No, I love his ship as well. His Star Destroyer. It's got like the big like chiss pattern underneath it as well on the belly of the Star Destroyer.
Nothing if not an artist.
Well, yeah, but it's good because also when it turns up, it's more intimidating. Like with the shots of like it emerging out of hyperspace, and you also get a great sense of the scale with it as well. And it's like, oh shit, we're in trouble now. This is not good. Yeah.
Some other highlights of this, maybe we'll go into this a bit more if you want to, but we've already kind of touched on it. Is the Rex the official end of the Clone Wars?
Yeah. Good episode. I do like that one quite a lot. It's always fun whenever B1 battle droids show up because they're always fucking hilarious. You probably hate them.
I like them. I think they're fun.
Oh, surprising.
Best line of the entire fucking show is "Who's Roger?"
Yeah, that was right.
But I paused. I was barely. I've heard it. It's so familiar to me of that Roger. Like I say it in real life. People ask me to do something, I go Roger.
Yeah.
Like it rolls off the tongue. I know it so well. And then when Ezra just interrupts that flow with the quickest, driest, deadpan, "Who's Roger?"
Yeah.
Comedy. That's gold right there. That
was very fun.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I did like that, to be fair. Yeah, I love B1 battle droids. They're always very fun. I think that's the episode where they get the Phantom 2 as well, the new little ship.
I think you're probably right, yeah.
Which I enjoy.
Yeah.
I like the Phantom 2 more than the Phantom 1. So
Phantom 1's more blocky, it's more Razor Crest, it's more like...
The Phantom 1 always pissed me off as well, because I can never quite figure it out. Because like sometimes
you need a Lego set, you need a diagram.
I need a map of the ghost itself and then the Phantom 1. But no, what always pissed me off is like, you know how it like slots in at the back?
Yeah.
Like more often than not, it would be positioned so like the rear door of the Phantom like slots in against the ghost, so that door can open, and then they can just walk in. But then sometimes it would come in like with its front to the ghost, and then I'd be like, but how did they get out?
Hera's a good pilot.
She's a good pilot. She's a very good pilot.
She can make it work.
Anyway, whatever.
Another thing that I think is really, really interesting. This is the season I would have appreciated before watching The Mandalorian season 3.
Oh, this one?
More so than the others, I think, yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. There's... I guess there's quite a bit of Mandalore stuff towards the end. Yeah,
I think so.
I was thinking because the Bo-Katan stuff is in the beginning of season 4.
That's true. Maybe I'm watching it bleed over. Maybe.
Yeah.
Look, this Rebels is Rebels at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the point of the show where I'm like, good stuff. Next episode.
Yeah.
We're recording at fucking 9:00 tomorrow. Next episode.
Yeah.
I haven't got time. Please, Lawrence. I haven't eaten in days. Next episode. No, I find that this is really interesting. I fucking love the episode where they go and they're like, Soap McTavish is like, we could maybe ask the rest of the Mandalorians.
Fenrau.
Yeah, no, Soap McTavish. He asks, he's like, maybe. So it's the first, that character in itself is like, I'll never be your mate. I'm your mate now. Like,
yeah,
very, very speedy.
I feel like that happens quite a bit in Rebels as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's like that Fast and Furious thing of like when mortal enemies and fucking look, I'm the big villain of this movie, and when mortal enemies will never get along, and then like 2 movies later they're at the barbecue and they're just grilling together. They're on the team now.
When I hadn't seen Fast 5 in a while, and when I watched the trailer for Fast, it's more than this, but when I watched the trailer for Fast X, I was like, it leads you to believe, especially if you watch it without like any dialogue or anything, if you're just seeing the visuals, it leads you to believe that Vin Diesel not knocked someone off a bridge once, and they've come back to be this mortal enemy in Fast X. Like, it's like, you knocked me off a bridge. The Mason joke is, you knocked me off this bridge, I respect you, I'm on the team
now. Oh, did you, just quick note, this isn't anything, but speaking of just quickly Caravan of Garbage in the Fast and Furious, did you do the animation of the guy with no underwear, or the guy in his underwear running away and stuff? Or was that Ben?
I cut him out, and I put him where he needed to be in the environments he needed to be in. A lot of the I'll assemble the building blocks, and Ben has a way of keyframe animating these things to just make them fucking hilarious.
Right. Okay. Because that was very funny.
The thing that we loved the most about that was like we had a folder. Yeah. Right, we had a folder throughout these edits that was it was on my desktop, and it was called I'm on the team now. That was the folder, and it was the screenshots of the stupid people like the Lizard Man from Fast 4, whoever was in Fast 4, all of them through to Fast 7.
Yeah.
The guy that gets like toilet water blasted up his arsehole. We had all of them, and they were
maybe now's a good time to reveal that I've only ever seen Fast 1 and 2.
That's dreadful news. You need to get on that.
I don't know if I do. I mean, I kind of get it.
We kept putting them. There's a perfect space on the Fast X poster that is like, and we built them up, and then in Fast 7, the last one that we covered, we added all of them in.
All right.
And it's just this mural of stupid PNG cutouts that I'd made for over the course of like 6 weeks or whatever. Anyways. Yeah, right. So a lot of the Mandalorian stuff I really, really liked in this, when Soap McTavish is like, let's go home and try and convince your mum, who is leader of the Mandalorians, and Sabine's like,
Wren.
Yeah. And she goes home and she's like, my brother's a Nazi now. What's this?
Yeah.
No, I just like that.
You text me and you was like, oh, I hate Sabine's mum or whatever. And I was like, interesting. All right.
She never ends in a definitively great place, does she? Like,
well, I mean,
she gets better.
She's not a bad person.
No, she don't. Look, I sympathise. That's me amping up for some fun conversation with you. But the part of me that's watching this is like, I see that she's in a very difficult box.
Yeah,
I do understand that. This is more in season 4 and stuff as well. But like the Sabine creating like what I'm only going to refer to as the Mando vaporizer.
Yeah.
Like, firstly, hilariously specific weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, you think I can't make this? I can. What did you think the Empire were going to do with that?
Oh, she was young. She says it herself.
Yeah, and I do respect that she doesn't shy away from it at all. She's like,
and also like Bo-Katan like very much calls it. She's fucking ready to fight with her. She's throwing her against walls and shit. She's ready to punch on.
The real moment it comes to a head for me is Sabine has the Darksaber. It's given to her. So Ezra, I think Ezra got it from Maul.
Maul had it in his cave on Dathomir, and when both Kanan and Sabine were kind of like taken over by the spirits of Night Sisters, Sabine then picked it up to use against Ezra, and then they took it after that. So.
Yeah. So she ends up having it. It's revealed like, and they kind of, what I really like about this is that they don't know the proper channel to kind of have this.
Yeah.
Like, and it's the same with like Kanan and training Ezra, and it's like, it's just like we have one guy that's the best of all of us at flinging swords.
Yeah.
Maybe he can train you.
And first of all, Trials of the Darksaber, one of my favorite episodes of the show.
Is that this one where they're
the one where the training Sabine with the saber? Just one of my favorite episodes.
And then Sabine's like, "Listen, you fucking ponytailed fuck."
It's so good. I love because you do kind of get like a not necessarily. I'm hesitant to call it internalized misogyny from Kanan, but I feel like it kind of is a little bit.
I think it absolutely is. Yeah,
because he's not trusting Sabine as much as he trusted Ezra. He's not giving her, the benefit of the doubt, and he's not being as he's got like training wheels on her much more than he ever did with Ezra. He was a lot more free with Ezra's training, and he's definitely been a lot more harsh with Sabine. And she calls him out on it, and Hera calls him out on it as well. She's like, "This is bullshit, man. Like, fucking, you was never like this with Ezra." I don't know, it's a really good episode. I really enjoyed quite a lot, especially the moment where like Sabine just gets to really fucking trauma dump essentially while she's fighting Kanan. It's a really good episode.
It's a great monologue that sequence, and also makes you really understand like a lot of her character to this point. Yeah, we've known, but she's never gone into it. And this is the moment where you can really see like, oh, this did a number on her big time. Like, she really isn't happy about this. And I like that. You're right. It absolutely is kind of internalized misogyny in the way that he won't allow himself to. There's a way you can hand wave that and say like, it's because he's seen that Ezra is still too presumptuous and still thinks he knows best in certain occasions.
Yeah,
but he still let him fail.
Yeah, it's true.
And I think that moment comes out the most in like Soap McTavish is like, here's these little wrist lasers. Go and take him down a peg, which I really like. And then she does, and Kanan's like, hey, this isn't a game. And she's like, yeah, your kid's on his ass. Fuck you. Like, like she's like, you know, it's not funny now, is it? You fucking. And then Ezra's like, he gets, they hug it out later on. But I do like that, like, for everything that Sabine is feeling, Ezra's like conflict is so much more petty, and it's like, I'm the one with the sword, like, I'm Kanan's son with the
sword. Ezra can be very whiny at times, but then I often think that, but then I have to remind myself he's very young though. He is very young. Like Luke's, when we meet, well, he's the exact same age as Luke, and obviously when we meet Luke, he's very old. He's older than Ezra, and he's like, but I want to go to Tushy Station to pick up some power converters. You know?
I think it comes, unfortunately, it's part and parcel with being the protagonist of a kid's show.
Yeah, it's true.
Every now and again, you have to be like,
you have to have a big sulk and just
yeah, but you do, and I feel like that's also because they need to convey the emotions obviously to children.
Yeah.
Ezra needs to whine, because if he doesn't whine and he's like, yeah, I'm fine, kids are going to be like, he said he's fine, where's my juice pop, or whatever the fuck kids like. Like, no, but they'll ignore it. They won't be like, oh, there's something, there's no subtext.
Yeah.
And like, there is, it's there for adults, but there are moments on the surface where Ezra has to be black and white with what he's thinking and feeling.
It is true. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's true.
But yeah, no, just good stuff. That whole it takes us to for the 1500th time, Ezra goes, I think we should do this, and Kanan's like, it's a trap. And then Ezra goes, I'm gonna go do it, and Kanan's like, you shouldn't. And Ezra does it, and then Ezra comes back, or Ezra gets rescued. And Ezra's like, I'm so sorry, I should have listened to you. That was a trap / that was something I shouldn't have done. And Kanan's like, it's fine, I'm proud of you / I love you, and you can make your own choices.
And you're my son.
And you're my son. Yeah. And I'm blind. I'm Blainen.
Yeah, Blainen. Ghost of Geonosis, Saw Gerrera, is introduced. I just want to quickly touch on this episode. Did you get what was going on with this episode with Ghost of Geonosis? If you remember, this the one where Saw Gerrera's there. They go to Geonosis. They find out the whole planet's like not gone. It's just like the native species have all been killed. But there's little click clack, the little Geonosian they can't necessarily understand, and he's like running about. First of all, Saw Gerrera's there. You get the difference and with Saw and the other team, and the brutality of Saw. Which... Also
the vast difference between how he sounds and looks.
It's Forrest Whitaker.
It doesn't sound like Forrest Whitaker.
It is.
I don't know. I feel like the character of Saw Gerrera in every medium he's ever appeared in, he looks like a different person.
I think he does.
I especially in this, I don't think he looks anything like Saw Gerrera.
He's a little younger in this. Well, first anyway.
Yeah.
He's got bald head.
Bald gullet.
Bald gullet.
Seize all. Go on, sorry.
Yeah. So basically, just what I find interesting about it is everything in that episode. It's all happening because of the Death Star. Like, Geonosis is where the Death Star was initially built. The Geonosians are the ones who worked on the Death Star, and then this little Geonosian they're following around, it's like they're trying to figure out what's going on in the Geonosian. He draws a circle in the ground with like another little circle in it, but they can't figure out what that is. They completely misinterpret it, and it's very interesting.
Can we talk about Obi-Wan v. Maul?
Yeah.
We've already said incredible voice actor.
Steven Stanton.
Very, very good lad. I've just got that on my notes, and we can branch off this if you like.
Side note, hold on. Steven Stanton voiced Grand Moff Tarkin. He voiced AP5, who is the Alan Rickman droid.
Okay.
He voiced... Yeah, that's it in terms of, like, names. Everyone's just like... All the others are just like Stormtrooper 1, Stormtrooper 2, or whatever.
Yeah, just the randoms.
So, yeah. Tarkin, Kenobi, and AP5.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Did you like the AP5 singing in space moment? I loved that. That's one of my all-time favorite moments in Rebels. I feel so free.
I was so happy. No,
I was happy. No. I love that droid. It's so funny.
That's one of them moments where you're like, am I watching? Is this Star Wars?
Yeah.
What the fuck? No, I was
the funniest
so happy.
thing about that as well is like that episode is like sandwiched in between some like pretty big like lore heavy episodes. So like you have to imagine like watching this week to week. We're like, yeah, we're getting ready for the next episode. It's just like, Chopper, what are you doing?
Stop it. I think there's something wrong with him, and everyone's like, there's something wrong with you, Alan Rickman droid. You're an idiot. And he's like, no. That's not fair. Why does Chopper the war criminal always get away with everything?
He deserves to.
I do like that he's another one of the... Is it him? Is it Alan Rickman droid, or is it the other droid that they pick up? That's always like, if I made this plan, it would definitely work, but because you made this plan, it's 99% going to fail.
That's Alan Rickman droid, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good bit of fun. He's
Maul Kenobi.
Yeah, so Maul Kenobi. My notes just say it's as quick and snappy as it needs to be. Basically, two old guys who have kind of nothing left. They've lost everything, but one of them is like so obsessed and angry, and because of that, his rashness. Like it's the defining conversation to be had about Sith and Jedi, I think.
Yeah, 100%. He's just Maul's not he hasn't been a Sith for a while, but same basic principle. He has just let his rage and his anger consume every factor of his life. This whole thing with Obi-Wan, by this point, it's got to be like almost 30 years ago, probably more. Yeah. All right. And this guy just cannot let it go. He has been seething for fucking 30 years over the fact that he come in. You killed his girlfriend, man. Like, you've done so much. You killed his master, his girlfriend, like,
you're in this position because you killed his master.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you weren't just going to let that go. He was like, he got Qui-Gon, fucking, back I go then, fair's fair.
Yeah, but Maul he cannot let it go. He has let it just completely take over him. And Obi-Wan even says it. He says, look what I've risen above. Because I've said it many times before, Obi-Wan is just the true poster child of the Jedi. He lost his way for a little bit after the fall of the Jedi, but this is, a few years after Kenobi, so we've seen him kind of reconcile with that whole part of himself, and he's forgiven himself for what happened with Anakin. He's no longer so much in his head about blaming himself, and he's kind of made peace with a lot of stuff. And now we're seeing him at a point where, sure, he has lost a lot, but he's not letting that consume him. He's not letting the darkness in and letting it take over his entire life. He's a much more balanced person in general. Yeah. And because of that, he's able to just finish more than just a move, and that's it.
Yeah. And is there something about it being the he tries the same shit he pulled on Qui-Gon?
Yeah, 100%. It's the exact same move he did. Because when he killed Qui-Gon, he hits him with the saber. He hits him in the head with the saber, and then turns and just stabs it into him.
Yeah,
that's his downfall here. He goes to hit Kenobi with the saber, and Kenobi just slices straight through it.
Yeah,
and that's it. He's done. He hasn't learned. in all these years, he's still in the exact same position.
And I thought it was that, because I recognize that move. I think is so synonymous. Like, it's a famous Jedi move of the twat in the head and then the double back and spin.
Yeah.
I thought as soon as he lifted his head, because it's a kind of unconventional, like not something you see in lightsaber battles. So when he did it again, I was like, did that? And I rewound it and I was like, was that the fucking, did he try the same shit? I think that's, it's such a good metaphor. Like you say, he's the poster child. Maul hasn't learned. But I love the fact that the two men are in the exact same position where they've fallen so far from grace from where they once were. Like at a point, both of them were essentially next to the fucking, like, Obi-Wan was like high in the ranks of the Jedi, and as the Sith
he was a council member, he was pretty much as high as you could go.
Yeah, exactly. And like as the Sith go, he was like next in line to be the head honcho Sith. Maul. Yeah. Naturally, he didn't know who he was with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that it's so interesting. Like you say, Obi-Wan rises above it and moves on, whereas Maul is so fucking concretely stuck in the past. Yeah. It ends up just being his complete downfall. And I think the way it's presented is so interesting, because it would have been so easy to have them do a quick like battle.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan be like, you haven't learned a thing, have you? And he's like, I'm angry. But they just show it visually through the fight, and it's all communicated so well.
Yeah. It's also very cool that, like, when the fight is, like, when they draw their lightsabers, Kenobi, he does his classic stance, holding the lightsaber over his head and that sort of stuff. And then he moves into Qui-Gon stance as well.
Does it? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he moves from that into Qui-Gon stance.
Maul dies. What does he say when he dies?
Well, he asks if it's the Chosen One who Ben is watching over, to which he says, yeah. And then he says he will avenge us all. And then Kenobi doesn't say anything because he knows that's not necessarily the Jedi way. But he's like, yeah, all right, sure, you have that.
Yeah, that's on you, man. Sad.
It is sad, yeah.
Like,
it's sad. Man, literally too angry to die, finally dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I kind of like that, like, it does feel like a relief for him.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like he's like, finally, someone's just fucking put him down. He is.
Yeah, I think it's kind of what he wanted, really. Whether he can admit that to himself or not, that's another story, but...
I read it very much as, if he takes Kenobi down, he's taking himself out next.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe not on screen in this children's show. Like the samurai way of just sword in the belly once you've like betrayed the order or something. Anyway, season 3 wrapped over.
Yeah, that's season 3.
We're finally 2 hours in. Jesus fuck me, we're on season 4. You wanted Rebels, man. You wanted Rebels. I'm proud of myself. I haven't let you speed this up.
It's true, yeah.
I get you wanted a discussion. I'm fucking here for a discussion.
Alright, season 4.
I've got straight away, Bo-Katan is very compelling. Like, from her introduction alone, she sets up so much new. Like, what a good season opener always does for me is introduce someone else and go, here's all the dramatic potential that I bring to the table. How can we show it through these guys? And obviously Sabine is standing there and she's like, do you want this Darksaber? And Bo-Katan's like, get fucked. And Sabine's like, oh, maybe not. He's like, you are the rightful person to wield this Darksaber. And Bo-Katan's like, go away. I don't want that. Yeah, just great. I fucking, I like seeing Mandalorians go to war.
Yeah.
It's good. It's very cool. The line of like,
Mandalorians are cool. There's something very cool about Mandalorians.
And I think they tie into the, like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Would you call it like a religious order?
Well, it depends, because like the Children of the Watch, which is what like Mando's part of, I kind of call that a religious order.
Yeah.
But like Mandalorian culture itself,
it's more just the way of life, that the way they do shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't walk down the street naked because I'm part of the human race when we wear clothes.
Yeah, sure, man.
No, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, like that. It's not a religion.
Yeah, more just traditions and culture and stuff.
Yeah, and like the way you were raised, because everyone was raised that way.
Yeah.
I just find it. I like knowing more about their stuff, and I find it so compelling and interesting. We get to it a bit later on, but it's like Ezra just like rather bluntly is the audience for a minute, and he's like, if this vaporizer only affects Beskar armor, why don't you just take the armor off? And they're all like, are you a fucking idiot? Yeah. I'm not taking this off, man. My nan wore this.
Well, he's like, why don't you just make your armor out of something else? And it's like, well, this is important to us, Ezra. This is like, it tells our story and all this sort of stuff, which is a very good answer from Sabine. Like, yeah.
Yeah, just like that. Why don't you throw your lightsaber in the bin, you fuckwit? Like, see how that goes.
One thing we didn't mention at the end of season 3, one thing I love about season 3 is there's a whole subplot of Fulcrum, like an Imperial spy, and we figure out it turns out to be Callus. And then when he's on when they get him out of the Empire layer, and he has that moment where he thanks Kanan and that sort of stuff. Just really good. I like that he's now part of the Alliance, and I like his journey as a character and how he grows and stuff.
Yeah, it comes from that just incredible episode with Zeb in the cave. Yeah, the whole battle of, like, I had a line, because at this point I didn't know he was going to turn good, and in my notes, and it was like when he says something along the lines of like, do you think that goes both ways? When Zeb is like we fight and we kill people because you don't give us a choice.
Yeah, and
then he's like, do you think that necessarily, like, do you think that's exclusive to you? Like, some of us are put in that position as well. Like, and there's a part of me that's like, come on, man, you're chatting shit. Like, this guy's bigger than you and will kill you if you say the wrong thing. Like, fuck you. You made a choice. You could defect and have a harder life, but you choose the comforts of the Empire. And then obviously later on to see my criticisms of that character get realized, and he's like, he almost turned to the screen and went, you know what, Lawrence, you're right, I'm gonna defect. And I was like, good on you. You like that. And I just like the fact that they both went, that episode especially comes down to like, who's gonna arrive first. Like, the Empire ship's gonna get there first before the Ghost does, like, because it's a moment, like, one of them's gonna make a choice.
Yeah. And then the Ghost gets there first, and then Callus like watches, Zeb's family greet him, and they're so happy to see him, and they welcome him back, and they're happy that he's alive and safe and that sort of stuff. And then he eventually gets picked up by the Empire. There's no welcome party for him. He just kind of has to stumble back to his quarters, and no one says anything to him, just alone, just another cog in the wheel of the Empire.
And I love that it does get revealed as him. Like, obviously, that's one of the moments you see Admiral Thrawn throw down.
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Oh, sorry, my apologies for his title.
Correct full title, please.
Of course. You get to see him throw down with that moment. They have a little fight. Yeah, good stuff. Good, great character, really interesting. Comes back later on in a really interesting way as well.
He's on Yavin, and he's hot. Do
you know what? I don't have a thing against mutton chops. I thought I did.
No.
I have a thing against mutton chops on greasy shitheads.
Okay.
And then he lets his hair down. He grows it out a little bit. He puts on a little fucking flight jacket. I'm like, you work in the mutton chops now. Like, I don't mind them as much anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. Great line of there's TIE fighters coming at them, and Ezra's like, we have no weapons to the Mandalorians, and they're like, you have a jetpack. A Mandalorian with a jetpack is a weapon, man. And then they just basically fly up to all the TIE fighters and throw grenades in them, and I'm like, of course.
Yeah.
Like that checks out. It's very good. And this is where my note, it was season 4. I have the note here about killing the Mandalorian. It wasn't the Darksaber, just to correct what I said earlier. The Thrawn scene where he's like, it's good to kill the Mandalorians with their own Beskar, because it's better that way. It hurts them more, and they're taking their biggest strength and turning it into their biggest weakness.
Right. Yeah.
That's the it wasn't the Darksaber. It was that. I don't know. I think for me, I think this season's very much like the Mandalorian cool stuff.
Yeah.
Some other stuff in the middle, and then the Kanan death cool stuff.
Yeah.
What kind of? I know, like, I remember the episodes, but like, is there like a? I didn't because I have no other notes on it after that point other than the Kanan death stuff. Like, I didn't find season 4 as, I feel like season 4 was shuffling a bit until it got to the end.
Right. Okay. Did you see the World Between Worlds episode?
That's towards the end?
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of Kanan death stuff after, right?
Well, yeah, but it's very out there.
Oh, Yeah, in a extremely, it kind of immediately off-putting way.
Yeah,
I don't know if my Star Wars is my Doctor Who show.
Yeah, are we doing this?
Yeah, I give it credit for like late season 4 episode of an animated kid show to be like, we do time travel now. Star Wars is time travel now.
Yeah. First of all, Jedi Knight as an episode absolutely broke me, and it breaks me every time I watch it. It's heartbreaking, and what's heartbreaking about it is how centered and calm Kanan is throughout the entire episode, because he knows what's going to happen. He knows exactly how that entire episode plays out. He knows he's not coming back from that mission.
He calls Ezra and he's like, "I'm going to need you to take point on this one," and I was I didn't know. Yeah. But immediately I was like, something's fucked here. What's going on?
Something's different. Something's not right. And it's fucked. And he kisses Hera. They have a beautiful moment together. And then it's fucked, man. It's fucked. He sacrifices himself to save them. The Force grants him his vision back for one last look at Hera. And then he dies. That's it.
I was handling it quite well.
Yeah.
And then his eyesight came back, and I was like, no, not his eyesight back now. Like, so he can look at his, like, lovely lady one more time. No.
You know what really kills me, though, is the next episode when it opens up and we see the crew just getting back to, like, their little base or whatever. And there's just a shot of Hera just, like, looking out over the sunset, and Chopper just comes up beside her and holds her hand. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fucked, to be honest. Like, Kanan, like, kind of ritualistically, but like sort of fucking it as he goes, like cutting his hair.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It's all. I really commend this is such a season finale move.
Yeah,
and they didn't.
Yeah,
and because of that space, it allows the characters to be fundamentally changed going into the finale, and it gives us some episodes prior to just put the cap on final things. Like this is Ezra's master. Ezra's the main character, and this is Ezra's master, who's now dead. He was the only door into this Jedi way of life.
Yeah,
and it is the symbolization of there's nothing more I can show you. The rest is you're in the same boat I am now. You're young, and your master was taken from you. You got to learn on the job. You got to get the rest of the shit that you can learn is not something I can show you now.
Yeah.
I just think it's really, really interesting. Like it allows us to learn more about, and like how Sabine and Zeb's immediate reaction is to dive straight into revenge.
Yeah.
Just really like narratively interesting ways to explore
how they would deal with that. Yeah, because like everyone goes off and tries to do something of their own, try to have their own way of dealing with it.
Hera's is to just go and be quiet somewhere.
Yeah, to just try and like fucking figure out kind of what the fuck just happened and
what
she doing now, really. And you know, later we find out she's pregnant as well. So that's another big thing on her mind.
Also, it reframes everything in a nice way. Like towards the finale, like just as a season standpoint, this is the last season of the show. So when they kill Kanan, a beloved fan character, fan favorite, and then we're on the side of the good guys. We want to see them succeed. We want to see them overcome this. And then the next episode, just Governor Evil is saying, "Let's throw a big parade because we killed Kanan." And I'm like, I want you all to die, and I want you all to kill them. Like
it was very good. It was very good, very fun to see Thrawn be like, no, you fucked up. And I know you fucked up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fucking deal with you because you fucked up.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, Thrawn, drag her.
I love how short-sighted the decision to blow up the fuel line for one man is.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, I get he's been a fucking pain in your ass for years. I get that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it just comes down to that, like, I mean, like, even to speak on the Maul and Obi-Wan stuff, it's like, Kanan's there. Kanan knows what's going on. Like, you can kill him one way or another. He knows he's going to die. And
again, this is a big difference between Thrawn and a lot of the Imperials we see, and it happens like a few times throughout the show. Like, they're glory hungry. They want the glory of the battle. They want the glory, the commendation, the rank, the promotion. They want the Emperor to recognize them. And Thrawn, he wants to get the job done.
Yeah.
And he wants to get it done properly.
He's like, what you like, yeah, for some short-term glory, you've set back this project immeasurably.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
and now Krennic's fucking building the Death Star or whatever.
Yeah, I did like that line. Yeah, he's like, and between you and me, I think Krennic's a fuckwit, and I'm like, Krennic is a fuckwit.
Tarkin hates Krennic so much.
I like that carryover.
Yeah, me too.
But no, I absolutely love how, like, yeah, you're right. Thrawn is not glory hunting. Thrawn is like, he has this incredible line, and it's something you just never expect to hear from a representative of the Empire, which is like, in thwarting them, in stopping them, you've completed their victory for them.
Yeah,
they came here to blow this shit up, and to stop them, you blew the shit up.
Yeah,
what the fuck? You're an idiot.
Massive idiot.
Yeah. It's like I don't know, like someone steals your brand new car, so you fucking crash into it to get them to stop. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You fuckwit.
It's yeah, it's that meme, like shoving the stick through the wheel on your bike and then like blaming whoever. It's or that like gunshot meme, you know, like from the Eric Andre show, like
how could you do
why
this?
Would how could Kanan do this or whatever? Yeah.
But yeah, no, just it's great. Let's talk about the doorway through all of time and space.
Yes, the world between worlds, because it's out there and it's very exciting. It's very interesting. It's also very vague, and like there's a lot we don't know, and there's some stuff we do know. So what's your reaction to this episode? I'm interested to see.
I am okay with any big narrative swing if I think it's one, earned, and two, explored in a compact enough way that it doesn't break other shit.
Yes.
I think this is very... This episode is basically you've seen The Good Place, right?
Yeah. I introduced you to it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But like...
Oh, there's an actress from The Good Place in the show. Sabine was in The Good Place.
Oh, now you're saying it, I really recognise her voice, but who is it?
Sabine was fake Eleanor. You know, when there's like, this is the real Eleanor.
Oh, fuck.
That's Sabine.
The one that really wants to be like an actress.
Yeah.
Oh, piss me off. Yeah, that makes a lot. I recognise the voice now. I'm hearing it. Fuck.
Anyway, good show.
Did you know that Soap McTavish was also in it? Kevin McKidd, Nathan.
Did you know that Maul, Sam Witwer, was also...
Wow, he's the guy from the Walking Dead pilot.
Is that the pilot?
Yeah, there's a fucking
He's
hilarious...
the guy in the tank, and then he's just never in it again.
Right where Star Wars has broken new ground, we have the opportunity to break new ground also. Would you like to finally free us from the shackles of our longest episode being unlistenable and from like 3 years ago?
Oh, maybe. How long is that one?
I don't know. Let me find out real quick.
Yeah, get the official runtime.
But also remember, there's headway in cutting here. Like, we haven't edited this yet.
It's true. Yeah.
Let me pull it up real quick. Oh, my internet. Can you pull it up? My internet's been dog shit.
I'll try now on Acast. 2 hours 7 minutes. 2 hours 8 minutes.
So we've been recording for longer than
that. Already.
Not much of this is cuttable stuff as well.
Yeah.
Congrats, man.
Congrats, we did it, Reddit.
Yeah, so right, my understanding... So anyway, the reason I said about The Good Place is it's Tahani's final quest.
Yes.
Can you walk through this corridor without opening a single door and just listening to what someone has to say about you? Because she's a character that is very concerned with how she's perceived.
Very self-obsessed, yeah.
Yeah, and this is... Obviously, it's not this to the same degree, but it's basically... It's the door of temptation for Ezra.
Yeah.
You can save Kanan if you like. You saved Ahsoka.
But can you?
Yeah, no, you can't. And he knows that.
Well, he doesn't. I don't think he ever could have saved Kanan. That whole thing was Palpatine. Yeah, I don't think that was ever actually a window to that event.
I see, okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because that kind of conflicts with... There's still a window for Ahsoka.
There is a window for Ahsoka, yeah. And there are windows to... Well, the episode would have you believe there's windows to certain moments all throughout it, but that's what he sees. He sees a window, but I think that's what he's been shown, and I think what's telling is the iconography around the window itself, because the iconography around the Ahsoka window, it's all very related. It's the Mortis, not the Mortis, sorry, the Malachor. Is it Malachor? Moraband?
It's Malachor, yeah.
Yeah, the Malachor temple, the like pyramid temple, and the iconography around it and stuff. And then the iconography around the window to Kanan's death. It's Sith iconography in Sith language and that sort of stuff. And why are we seeing that on Kanan's death? And then it makes sense that it's actually a window to Palpatine's weird magic cave or whatever.
Well, I mean, like, I think either way, whether the door presents itself as real or not, it's the trick, right? It's the gambit of if Ezra does it, he's fundamentally misunderstood what Kanan's death should have taught him.
Yes, 100%, yeah.
I really, really like it. I think that it's like, I maybe the Ahsoka stuff I like that Ahsoka's there and we get the, Ahsoka lives and all of that. I didn't know about this movement at the time, but that's obviously the resolution to that.
And you see the rest of the fight with her and Vader. It must have been weird from Anakin's perspective, from Vader's perspective, to just be fighting Ahsoka, and then suddenly she's just like an arm appears and she's pulled out into nowhere. It's like, what?
Yeah, what? I would have liked to see it in Kenobi, where it's like, and I saw Ahsoka too, and this crazy shit happened.
This is after Kenobi.
Oh, fuck off, man. You love Star Wars so much, didn't you, you fucking Star Wars boy? I would have known that if I'd have thought about it for longer than a second.
This is about 8 years later.
I know, because Kenobi's got grey hair in Rebel. I know. Right. Fuck off.
All right, okay.
I didn't know at the minute. I've said, I think the one that's really impactful is the parents one. That's the Ezra's whole fucking deal has been.
Well, that's a little bit later. That's with Palpatine. That's not necessarily in the World Between Worlds.
No, I suppose not. Yeah. What do you're a Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
Like, I can imagine this shit is like. Does it feel like the timeless child in Doctor Who? Like, is this the kind of stuff that just fucks you up?
No, because it very much could become that.
Yeah.
If it depends on how it's used, really. And so far, what we've seen of it, I feel like they've been very careful about how they're using it. It's not something where you can change stuff that's happened. It's not anything like that. I don't think that's necessarily how it works. I feel like what happens was always going to happen. Yeah. Like Ahsoka coming out of that fight and being with Ezra in that World Between Worlds, she's not then suddenly, 2 years of her life have been missing. She's not then 2 years in the future. She goes back. She goes back into the portal and that sort of stuff. And I don't think it's something where you can have like branching timelines and that sort of stuff. I don't think that's ever necessarily going to happen in Star Wars, and I hope not as well, because
keep it unambiguously vague as fuck.
Well, I think we're going to see more of it, and I can tell you why in a second as well. And I think we've seen more of it already. I think the moment in The Rise of Skywalker where Rey is in the Be With Me moment where she speaks to the former Jedi and you hear all the voices and that sort of stuff. If you watch that scene back visually, it's very similar to what we see here.
Okay.
Yeah. So
just saying visually, the design of the space is very cool.
Yeah, it is.
I like all those white lines in just a nothingness is very cool.
And I think if you it'd be very interesting for you to watch the Ahsoka trailer now that you've seen all of Rebels, because I think we're going to see the World Between Worlds in Ahsoka from what we're seeing in the trailer.
I'm glad I've seen this before watching Ahsoka, because tell you the truth, 2 weeks ago I couldn't give a shit. I just could. I don't know the character.
Yeah.
So I don't give a fuck, and now I care a little bit more, quite a lot more, I'd say. I was very endeared by Ahsoka in this as just a person that has her own principles and rules, and it's just
a great character. There's a reason she's as popular as she is. She's a very well loved, and she's a great character, strong character as well. Anyway, World Between Worlds, scary but good.
Yeah, and has the narrative potential to break this shit wide open.
Yeah, but I trust the people who are using it though. And
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever like Star Wars theory. That fucking cunt will have you believe that, you know, Jon Favreau is personally using the World Between Worlds to rewrite the entire Star Wars sequel trilogy and say fuck you to Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah. That's never going to be the case. Shut up. But you know, it's never going to be used like that. The people who are using it,
I really hope it stays as reserved as this was.
Yeah,
because
but like I say, I think it's almost certainly. I'm 95% sure it's going to be part of Ahsoka.
I mean, it would make sense. I feel like it's a pretty big thing to just introduce into someone's life. I love the moment that Ahsoka is pulled out of it, and she just like she's pulled out of it, but like for a good 20 seconds, she's like, Anakin's Darth Vader. Like she's not like immediately like, whoa, where am I?
Yeah,
she's like Anakin's Darth Vader, and I feel kind of really weird about that. And then she turns around and sees like an older Ezra, and she's like, huh? What the
Where's your hair gone?
Yeah, she's like, I just saw you. Yeah. This is not the time for a fade up, Ezra.
Why are you dressed like a stormtrooper?
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, by the way, Ian McDiarmid as Palpatine as well.
Yeah, I figured it had to have been him.
Yeah,
it sounds too good.
Yeah.
I've got a note that says this. The finale has like everything that you would want from all the good parts of this show.
Yeah.
And we'll go into this kind of stuff, but like Ezra, so like I said, like one of the doors that Ezra, you know, it's so naturally and obviously a fucking trick by Palpatine. And like if it isn't plain as day enough, he takes the form of like himself pre-fucked
friendly up. Uncle Palpatine.
Yeah,
he's just a friendly old man. He's the friendly emperor.
I call this iteration of Palpatine Groomer Palpatine.
Yeah,
but that's what he is. He appears as a nice guy who's going to give you something that you want.
Yeah, he's not horribly scarred and deformed. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and and the moments where like the illusion drops and it flickers back, like great stuff.
Yeah.
But no, Ezra's parents like being there. The moment this like, there is an exact moment this morning, and I went, and like I wasn't at this point. I was definitely no longer like kicking and screaming, being forced to watch this.
Yeah,
but there was a moment like there'd be a beauty in coming on here and being like, Nathan, I gave up a week of my life to shotgun this show, and I hated it, and I hate you now. And I'll tell you the exact moment. The moment that happened was when Ezra decided to let them go.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, didn't make it an aggressive display against Palpatine, stared directly at his mum and dad and said, I love you, but I'm letting you go. And Palpatine's getting cross in the background, but we remain focused on Ezra's mum and dad. And Ezra's dad just so subtly smiles at him.
Yeah.
And I went, fuck you, Nathan, this is a good show. Fuck's sake.
I did it. Yes.
It's good. I like it.
I win.
Look, I'll get onto general stuff in a second, and my God, we'll wrap this up in a minute. But like, yeah, the dad smiling when Ezra chooses to let them go, like he learnt the fucking lesson. Palpatine trying to like turn Ezra as his old self, that was great stuff. Zeb essentially almost sacrificing himself, and the person that gives most of a shit is Kallus.
Yeah.
Kallus. He like Kallus watches Zeb like fly down, and he's like, no, and I'm like, yeah, because he's your mate, like he brought you into this.
His boyfriend.
Oh, are they gay?
They're lovers. Well, that's the popular thing. Everyone calls Kallus Zeb's husband. There was a big thing when Zeb showed up in Mandalorian. Everyone was like, "Where's your husband?"
I suppose because where they go off.
Yeah, exactly.
He goes off to be with them.
They get married and they go live on Coruscant.
They go off to go and kiss. Just like he's so concerned for his friend that showed him the light, and he like.
Yeah,
I think he's like, there's a part of him. It's so quick, and maybe I'm reading into this, but I love the assumption that like he doesn't like. Yeah, he obviously doesn't want Zeb to die, but that's the part of him, the part of Zeb that was able to turn one of a really fucking criminally, intrinsically brainwashed fucking Empire slave,
into
this freedom fighter, rebel and hero.
Yeah.
Like that's a gift.
Massively.
And I don't think he wants that to go.
He wouldn't be there without Zeb, really. Zeb set it all in motion. So
yeah, and I just all in all, I think this finale is great. Only thing.
Yeah.
I just wish I could have. I know he's coming back. I get it.
Yeah.
I just wish I could have seen Grand Admiral Thrawn eat some shit a bit more than he did.
Yeah, that's fair.
I like the moment where he shoots at Ezra, and Ezra's like, put the gun down, man. Fuck you. Forces his gun out of his hand, and he's like, stop.
Yeah.
I've got a space whale.
The pergola here.
So Ezra's not dead.
Ezra's not dead, no. So him, Thrawn, and a fuckload of Purrgil have
vibes.
Have seemingly gone somewhere. So Ezra is very special and unique. Throughout the series, we see that Ezra's got like a special connection to like wildlife, basically, like creatures. For some reason, he can connect with them through the Force and that type of stuff. And there's a whole episode where we meet the Purrgil, and again we see Ezra has a special connection with them. The Purrgil can travel through hyperspace. They helped people develop the technology to do that.
They're in Mando 3, right?
They are in Mando 3. Yeah, you see their silhouettes as Mando and Grogu travel through hyperspace.
Yeah, I remember just so having not seen Rebels and seen that scene. I remember so redundantly being like space whales. And now I've seen this, I'm like, oh, space whales.
Space whales. Yeah. So yeah, it seems like where they are, fuck knows. Clearly, Thrawn has got out of that somehow because we've seen the trailer for Ahsoka. So where's Ezra? Don't know.
I also quite like
no idea. And you fucking cunt, you gotta wait like 3 months at most. It's been like 6 years for me, Lawrence. 6 years. I'm like, where's Ezra and Thrawn? I don't know.
Fuck no. I have no idea.
This cunt shows up at the last minute.
I care as much as you guys do. No, I've got the note, and maybe this is a good place to end the season 4 stuff on. And then I'll give a very brief overview, and then we can all go to bed. Yeah. Including you guys.
It's after midnight.
I know.
We started recording at 9, man.
I know, this is outrageous. I think having this series, and I think so many Star Wars.
Luckily, it's a bank holiday.
Yeah, right. Yeah, fucking hell.
Not that it matters to you.
I'm up early as well. I got to watch Succession before any spoilies come onto my timeline.
Sweet one right now.
No, don't.
Might as well just stay up and watch it as it goes on.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Be on at 2 a.m.
Fuck. No, I want to be wide awake. I want to be like fresh up. We'll end it kind of on this. We'll end season 4 on this. So many Star Wars shows balloon themselves, I think, and I think this is kind of what my point was getting at a little bit in Mandalorian when we did the episode on that. It starts as something, and then by the end of it, Luke Skywalker's here, and the galaxy is at stake. And it's so quickly it balloons itself into the stakes are so fucking universally large because naturally the show has to like up itself from its previous season. Yeah, and I find that this show, it started on Lothal, it ends on Lothal. Yeah, and it's not a big fucking win against the Empire. Like, yeah, it's a big win for the people of Lothal, and it feels like a fucking emotional burden.
Do you know why it can't be a big win for the Rebel Alliance?
No, not like I don't know a narrative reason as to why.
So the opening crawl of A New Hope says that the striking from a hidden rebel base, the Rebel Alliance has just won their first major victory against the evil Empire. So the Rogue One is their first victory, their first major victory as a alliance. Yeah. So that's why they like kind of go out their way a little bit in Rebels to say that this is not technically a rebellion mission. This is just us. This is just Lothal, because this cannot be our first major victory. So don't worry about it.
There will come a point where every square, like there were in 20 years, Dave Filoni and a very old Jon Favreau are going to be sat in an office, and Dave Filoni's like, I think we've got 5 minutes after A New Hope. Like, I think there's something there. Maybe Darth Vader there's something there. We could do that. And he's like, yeah, well, I've got a spare minute after Revenge of the Sith as well. We could maybe have a flashback sequence. It's going to be so fucking... There used to be so much untapped potential, and now it's like, what decade is free? Do we have anything?
There's a lot before Phantom Menace.
There is a lot before Phantom Menace. But that's not where the juice is. Everyone wants...
Well, fans of the High Republic would disagree. Me included.
It's true, it's fair. Yeah, no, I just think I like that it started on this planet, it ends on this planet. And it's exactly what they've been. Every fucking 5 minutes they've come back to this place and been like, how is it more of a shithole?
I like that it's the story of the rebels.
Yeah.
It's the story, and not the rebels, big R, capital R, the rebels, these rebels, the Ghost Crew. It's their story, and it always has been their story. There was, by the time the actual show, the actual finale was airing, there was a lot of talk about, like, you know, people thought the last episode was going to be basically Rogue One, because in Rogue One you see the Ghost flying about in that battle and that type of stuff. So, like, oh, we're going to see how that all works out from their perspective. And Dave Filoni was like, well, no, because it's not their story.
Yeah,
that's a whole other story, and it's not. It has nothing to do with the story we're telling. It's a cool little moment. It's a fun little bit of inclusion. If you recognize the ship, you can go, "Oh, I know that," and that sort of stuff. But
yeah,
that's not the story we're telling. So, no, we're not gonna do this just because you know it. We're gonna tell this story, which I really like.
And when it's time for that, maybe it will be time for that. Maybe at one point, but like it might not be. It's just they were there. It's cool.
They were there. It's just because they're part of the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah.
So that's why they're there. You should rewatch Rogue One now, because you can see Chopper at certain moments. And
oh, really? Is he there?
Yeah. He's on the Rebel base, and there's an intercom, like on Yavin 4, they're like, Captain Syndulla, come to the briefing room, and that sort of stuff.
Oh,
so
I see.
Yeah,
and then Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead runs through.
She comes out and she's like, "Look at my big green head." Look. All in all, I'll say that. Hang on, quickly. Right, wrap it up. They've got Hera goes on to fight with Rex in the Battle of Endor.
Yes. And you know the whole thing about Rex in the Battle of Endor?
Yeah, there's an old cunt, and they were like, it looks like him. We'll make him bald.
And his outfit in season 4 is the same outfit that guy wears in the...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Do you know what's funny? That guy died and has no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause let's be honest, the guy's dead.
Yeah, probably.
Fair. I find that so funny that a background extra for like probably one job in Return of the Jedi is a fleshed out fucking Star Wars.
Oh, mate, that's literally every Star Wars. You can point, mate, fucking Wilro Hood, one guy who in Empire Strikes Back is seen running with an ice cream maker. And now because of it, they've gone so far as to make the ice cream maker an actual prop and give it an actual purpose in Star Wars. You see it in Mandalorian all the fucking time. But like the actual character himself is one of the most popular and well-known fleshed out characters just because of a fun little just scene of him running with what is clearly an ice cream maker. Like every character you see in Star Wars, there'll be like at least $4 about that one character.
No, that's fair. I know that there's in Phantom Menace. I know that there's a scene where they had to use like an extra, or just a double for they couldn't get Sam Jackson back to do a Mace Windu scene, and they're not Mace Windu. We Ben and I searched for ages to try and find some supplemental material.
I don't think there is actually.
No, there isn't. They're just leaning into it was Mace Windu. Shut the fuck up. Rather than like I think now, especially if like Dave Filoni was in charge of it going back then, it would be like this is Mace Windu's double, and he was there because there was a hit on his life. And actually, at this point, Mace Windu was hiding in a bin on some other fucking backwater fucking planet. Anyway, look, overall, I think just very brief thoughts on this. It's a show that I think has some dead weight. It gets bogged down in a lot of boring scenarios in some places, but my god, the characters are like so worth coming back for. And I just find that like when the characters and the situations and the plot lines are hitting, which more often than not they are, it's so good. It's like, as a series as a whole, no arc outstays its welcome. It's like it's like one of the defining shows that is like the best example for like natural progression. Like, Ezra doesn't stay a fucking like 12-year-old forever or like whatever. Like, he doesn't act like a big buffoon for more than one season.
Yeah.
And like Kanan doesn't stay like a unsure of himself. He progresses. Everyone, Sabine especially, grows into someone.
Yeah.
Beyond just like what her hobbies and stuff are. Just fucking great. And it doesn't fall victim to like, I find a lot of Star Wars stuff now, like my eyes glaze over when it's just like, we need to defeat a big monster or a swarm of smaller monsters. And I find that comes up a lot, and it does come up a lot in this, but like the characters are so entertaining that I'm like, I don't care, man, fucking beat that monster up. But yeah, no, overall I'm glad I watched it. I'm very excited to see something that isn't Star Wars now.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I fucking knew you would. As I always,
I was still whatever you suggest, I'll still go into with trepidation. I will.
I know, but this always happens. A lot of people will, Clone Wars and Rebels are compared quite a lot, and I think a lot of people tend to fall on the side of Clone Wars is the better show. I personally disagree. I think this is the better show just because it's more focused than Clone Wars. Clone Wars you can tune in any week and it could be about someone. It could be a completely different story following completely different characters to the last week. There's no like main through line with Clone Wars.
Yeah.
That changes a little bit over time, but for the most part, it's all these like adventures in the Clone Wars.
I spoke about the Ahsoka essential episodes.
Yeah,
I looked at them. So if there's 20, it's like there's like 3 from season 1.
Yeah,
and then it's most of the episodes from season 5 to 7.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
the case.
That shouldn't be the case. I should maybe give a shit about this character through seasons 2 to 4. Like. But yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, no, and it's I love the storyline. You know me, I fucking love a found family trope more than anything. And this is a found family. This is the family. And it's a great family unit. I love that her and Kanan call themselves mum and dad at points as well. It's very fun. It's very cute.
One of the last things Kanan says is like, "This wasn't my idea. This was the kids."
Yeah,
and I'm like, Zeb is your age? I don't know.
He's still one of the kids. Yeah, he's probably like 100 years older than that, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. It's very heartwarming, a really good series, and I am, like I say, I'm looking forward to maybe getting some answers in Ahsoka. They've cast an Ezra. We see him in a hologram in the trailer. We don't know if he's in any more than that, but
I know that I've seen the guy. I looked up because I was like, I'm curious to see a few people that are coming back. And I did look. That's how I found out like Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and obviously I already know Ahsoka.
Yeah, I think it's the guy from Aladdin who's playing Ezra.
I think you might be right.
The guy who was Aladdin.
Oh no!
Oh.
Well, the best part of that movie was
Aladdin. Oh, yeah. I've only seen it once. I can't really remember.
He was alright. He was fine.
Yeah. I enjoyed the movie for what it was.
Yeah, it was good enough, I think. Still don't understand that was a Guy Ritchie movie.
Yeah.
Does not make any sense to me.
Hello, I'm Aladdin.
You cunt.
You fucking cunt. Right, now it's a Guy Ritchie movie.
yeah, now I see it.
Look at this fucking tiger.
Look, I had a lovely time. Thank you for making me watch this, and
you're welcome.
I apologise to myself for putting you through a week of it in one hit. I'd imagine this actually would have been a nice thing to just put on after an evening.
Probably.
But I didn't give myself that luxury because I'm stubborn and an idiot.
You are stubborn and an idiot. Lawrence, now that you know, and you enjoy this show, the question remains, will you ever watch the Clone Wars?
See, what you just said about Rebels being more focused is the main problem I had with Clone Wars.
All right, fair enough. Will you at least watch the last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I've actually been meaning to. Like, I
feel like if you watch anything, it should be at least that.
Okay.
The last 4 episodes.
Thank you for listening. I'm so fucking sorry that this is so fucking long.
Yeah, this is our longest episode ever. We did it, Reddit.
We did it, Reddit. But like I said, I've said it multiple times throughout the episode. Nathan wanted to talk Rebels. I am not one to shy away from a challenge.
I am so sorry. This is my fault.
You remember this because when Better Call Saul comes about, which is a longer show with longer episodes and more seasons, someone say 6-hour podcast talking about the ethics of the law.
I don't know if that's going to happen. Well, we said 1 season per episode now.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've done this was a trial.
Yeah, this is.
We're not doing Better Call Saul now.
Okay. Well, you said it, not me.
It's fine. It's too fucking long. It's too long. There's too much stuff to talk about.
All right.
Anyway, look, fuck it. Right, we're doing this next week.
The fuck are you, a 5?
I don't know. I'm tidy. I say please and thank you. Sometimes I'll offer to drive if they look tired.
Follow us by. They know, and they're not here. Let's go.
If you are here, here's a fun little secret for you.
Nathan, I want to go to bed, man.
What's a fun little secret?
I'll
tell you what. If you made it this far somehow, hashtag 2 supple boys on Twitter. Hashtag us with hashtag 2 supple boys at another happy pod, and then we will know that you are a true fan and we'll follow you.
If you're afraid,
if we already follow you, then we'll send you a picture of us giving you a little kiss.
If you're afraid to just have that publicly on your feed and you don't want to tweet out supple boys on your Twitter, DM us.
Supple no. They can do what they can do is if they tweet at another happy pod first, then it doesn't show up on people's like feed, because then it's just like it's like technically a reply.
I see.
So you know, like it doesn't necessarily show up.
Oh yeah, like you'd have to go to the tweets and replies section.
Yeah, exactly. Like it wouldn't be on the main feed.
Who's going there? What a freak!
Me. To stalk everyone, I stalk them all.
Who are you responding to? Go away! You're not in this conversation. Don't be nosy.
You know what the funny thing is to do? If you go to like a brand's Twitter account and go to the tweets and replies, you'll just see a whole lot of, "Oh, so sorry to hear about this issue," and then it's just people like, "Where's my order that I placed 3 weeks ago or whatever?" And it's just some pour into it. And like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, if you allow us to follow you, we'll send you a DM. I'm like, yeah, of course you fucking will. You're just great. Just riding out the day until 4 o'clock, aren't you?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, bye. This is a rebel, isn't it? Oh, wait, no. This is a rebellion, isn't it? I rebel.